Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
Okay, guys, here we go. So obviously Kent was here, but then he had to drop down. He said he was waiting for a phone call, and Charmaine, she had some last minute stuff she had to do. But anyways, you guys, happy Wednesday. It is. It's Wednesday. It's called Hump Day, isn't it? But anyways, you guys, so I know other people are doing streams there. I think DT's coming up with a stream here at 6 o'clock, and Clutch Some Pearls. It's one of those days where I guess the RCMP there, they came up with their update. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I wasn't really expecting anything, to be honest with you, in this update. But again, if you guys haven't hit that like and share for Jack and Lily, please do. Nice to see you guys all. And so, yeah, so I don't know if you guys were or not expecting to hear like something. I mean, it was hopeful. Here's Kent again. Whoops, 1 second. Hey, buddy.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Good evening. Oh, my goodness. I got my 3 days off again, thankfully. And it's almost coming to Thanksgiving. So happy Cluck Cluck Day to everybody out there. We all know that the state celebrates it in like November, but we celebrate it in October here. And yeah, it's September, 2 holidays, then we get to Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Hi, Melissa. How are you? I see Melissa's in the house. I think she said she's back home now. And then maybe Melissa will be joining us up for some of these lives now, perhaps. I'm sure. Well, she had like a lot of stuff going on, but nice to see you. Always Melissa from American Justice. She was on here a lot during the Delphi case and Sebastian Rogers and stuff like that. But anyways, so Kent, before we get started, okay, I'm going to play a few clippings here from Haley. Haley is Malaya's stepsister. You guys have heard her, in a few clippings along the way and on Hidden in the Fog. You guys have heard from Haley. Now, so Haley's not feeling well, I want to say. So Haley, again, get better. And thanks for always, when you make time and stuff like that, to talk to me about this case and Jack and Lily and stuff like that. So Ken, before we get started, I'm just going to play a few of those. Actually, you know what? Actually, before I play those, Ken, just give us your quick synopsis, whatever, of just, what you expected from this update as well.
From the update, I expected more. I'm disappointed in the update. I'm disappointed that it was a statement press release only. I'm not surprised by the dogs not alerting on anything. As we learned from the presser when they were coming in, just because the law or the dogs didn't alert doesn't mean that nothing happened. It just means that it either didn't happen there or the dogs never got in to the scent of the decomposition. I've had several conversations with people today, and my disappointment is growing more and more, not with these dogs, but with the air scent dogs that were here in May.
Yes.
I honestly believe that if it would have been a scent specific tracking dog like we all see on TV, that you let them sniff the smell of the person or thing that they're looking for. And if the scenario happened the way the parents reported it, then I think the dogs would have been close enough behind them that with a scent specific dog, they very well could have tracked them down.
Absolutely.
The end result, good or bad. But realizing now, or well, when we had once again going back to that pressure that the original dogs was only air scent. The thing that I question about that is even if they were to take them in the trailer so that they would have get their common scent and not be what they're looking for, there were so many people that arrived and was in the trailer and on the property. How would you expect the dogs to decipher between the two? I don't understand that.
I agree. I agree. Just quickly here. Zach's in the house. Hey, Zach. I happened to watch your video about, I don't know, 12, 30 minutes ago, I think it was on there. So if you guys don't know who Zach is, he does remote viewing on Jack and Lily. He just did another one today and stuff like that. So Zach, of course, I know you're following the Jack and Lily case along with other cases, but definitely following this Jack and Lily case. So if you guys haven't checked him out, there's his channel right there, and you guys can go check out his latest video on his thoughts about Jack and Lily and a timeline and stuff like that. So thanks, Jack, for being here. Kent, I just want to say I absolutely agree with you a billion % on that. I as well, I think a lot of us were shocked when we realized that they were just air scent dogs and not scent specific dogs. I guess that's all Nova Scotia has is the air scent dogs, like was said to us, but we didn't really know that. We thought that they were kind of like cadaver train, like, air, like specific scent. I think that would have made a huge difference that day. And, but anyways, bottom line is it still is what it is.
The RCMP might not have had a certified tracking dogs, but I know that they're certified. There has to be a certified tracking dog, and that's the same as the bloodhound that was with the searchers. Okay, because I've heard a couple people say, well, because I think Daniel or somebody, I don't want to blame Daniel if he wasn't the one that said it, but I've heard it said that that dog was on trained. While I can't see it being on trained, I would suspect that that was supposed to be on certified. But that's just my own belief. But
absolutely. Okay, so you guys, again, thank you guys for being here. So Haley, again, I'm not going to say her last name. I know it's out there on there, but Haley is the stepsister of Malaya. Again, I'm just going to play some voice clips that I had asked her just a few questions. Now, I know she's not feeling well, And again, I didn't want to overwhelm her, but I'm not like, let me put it this way. The questions I ask are more geared to how she's feeling, about when she spoke about that day that she arrived and stuff like that, right? I'm not here to try to, squeeze out of here to put on a live about her sister and stuff like that. Again, it's one of those things, right? If Malaya wants to ever come and speak up properly, in a sense, and talk about Jack and Lily besides the time that she messaged me on Messenger, then like I said, I don't feel like it's my place to sit there and get her to talk about, her kind of like her things with regards to Malaya and what's been said or not said and stuff like that. Okay. I just think that, again, it's about boundaries sometimes, right? It's Malaya wants to speak. She has a voice for herself. These are her children, Jack and Lily. And a lot of us feel, of course, that Malaya should be out and at least sitting there asking the public to help find these children, wherever she feel like they might be, whether they're dead or alive. Bottom line is these children, they continuously need to have voices speaking for them. So we'll be their voices, and then whatever family members want to speak out. Again, whatever your feelings about whether you feel something is truth or not truth, that's totally up to you guys. All I know is that two beautiful children deserve so much better than what's going on. My feelings have not changed at all. Okay, so regardless of this update, for me, my feelings, regardless, have not changed. In regards to how I feel about Daniel and his manipulation and his lies and his BS and stuff like that. Again, there's not a lot to talk about. There is stuff to talk about Malaya, but there's really not by the same token, because Daniel has spent like 5 months, popping in and out of chats and saying different things and contradicting himself. And, I mean, again, it's kind of like, if you give a person a rope, let them hang themselves type of thing. And that's what I feel like Daniel is doing regardless. So my feelings have not changed. Yes, do I wish that there was something more to the update? Obviously. But then I think about the vast area and not having this scent specific dogs, I think would have been huge. But it didn't happen. Simple as that. So who knows what will happen or come of this case. Will it turn cold? Will there be some answers? Totally up to we don't know. We just simply don't know. But if there's one thing I do know, is Daniel is still full of BS. Regardless if he feels he had nothing to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Honestly, that man is such a narcissistic. I'm just gonna call him a spade. He's such a douche. Honestly, it's just, it never amazes me how much somebody can twist a narrative and try to make themselves shine like shit during the fact when two children are missing. And it always never ceases to amaze me that they keep talking about all the things to justify all these actions or these twists and these lies and inconsistencies, but they just keep wanting to make it look like, like, let's not really talk about Jack and Lily. Let's just talk about us, and that's a very tell-all, regardless to me, of the personalities that are going on here and the kind that we're dealing with. If you want the truth, definitely don't look to the Martell Mackenzie side to me. Hi, Belinda. How are you? So I'm going to play, like I said, just a few clips here.
Just before you do, Sonny, I want to clarify to Osprey. No, Osprey, the cadaver dogs were cadaver dogs. We're talking about the original dogs being air sent and not specific tracker dogs. We don't want to get it out there that these weren't cadaver dogs. That's not what whether you missed us or whatever. It was the original dogs back in May were air sent tracking dogs, not specific scent tracking dogs.
Correct. Right. All right. Make sure that that's clear on that. Don't want misinformation and stuff like that. Okay, Ken, I'm just going to mute you for a sec as I play it. Just
Yep.
little tweaks on that, you guys. And again, so this is Haley, the stepsister. Okay, it's the stepsister, not the half sister, the stepsister of Malaya. And again, it's just I think there was like 4 things here, okay, that we're gonna listen to. So again, thank you, Haley, if you're watching this. I know it's late for you guys over there on the maritime side, Atlantic time. And so let me just grab this really quick. Okay, and hopefully we can hear it good.
Is constantly filled with worst case scenarios. I feel helpless. Like the feeling of helplessness is immense. Shock and emotional numbness trying to process the situation even 5 months later is not getting any easier, and I don't know if it ever will. As we have no real answers, no solid truth. And even for a second, I sit here with the what ifs. Like, what if I knew what was going on in that home? Could I have intervened? Could other family members have intervened? We didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. Malaya never said anything. The kids never said anything. They never showed signs of anything. Like, kids don't just up and vanish. We all know that. It doesn't happen. It's a heartbreaking mystery. I sit here day in and day out and hope for good news, but at this point, I don't know if we'll ever have any good news. Trying to navigate this has all been overwhelming. Like, literally overwhelming. It's unimaginable trauma to have a niece and nephew go missing, both at the same time at that. I just feel lost, helpless, and completely heartbroken. And then grappling with the conflicting emotions that come with the not knowing part. It'll literally eat you alive if you let it. I arrived May 2nd between 2 and 2:30. I didn't even know Jack and Lily were missing till 1:30 that day, and I seen it on Facebook in a post that was shared. You imagine, you just get home from work, you sit down, you open your phone just to scroll, and then you see that. Your niece and nephew missing. I can't even explain the hurt and the heartache when I seen that. I had to message some people and get the address of where this happened because I didn't even know where Malaya lived. I didn't speak to her for 2 years, and keep in mind, I'm not familiar with that area. I live 45 minutes away. So I got all the details that I needed to head down, and I was there between 2 and 2:30. And as per Daniel wanting a polygraph, I just want to say, if the RCMP took him seriously and really thought that blanket was planted, my ass would have been hauled in there long and ever ago for a polygraph. That's never once came up from them. He's just making himself look worse and worse with all this new stuff coming about. Same as, saying that Malaya took 2 of his shirts from the house. That didn't happen either. Okay, so as for the bathroom incident, I guess if that's what you want to call it, when I went in after him, after he was wrestling around in there was something there. I couldn't tell you what it was. Could have been a substance, could have been anything. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely something that, was there, and then it wasn't there after he had gone back in. And Malaya had broke down at the end of the driveway and had said that, he's been using meth for 2 years. So that's where that came from, where I said, like there was drugs involved. That's where that came from. Anybody can take it as they please. Like, I know what I said. I know what I had seen. But just to clarify that, I guess, if that helps. So that question, Sunny, regarding Daniel saying that my side of the family has the children hidden, that I'm a part of that. That is not the case. And at this point in the case, I'm focused on getting the truth and not pointing fingers at somebody else or looking for revenge towards somebody. And that's what I feel like Daniel's motive is to just take all of the heat off him and his side of the family and swing it a different direction. As we all know, he's always coming out with something new, like even the latest talks that he did with the DT show. There's information on there that he said that is not in the documents. So why are you saying this to the public, and why wasn't it told to the RCMP? Like, it's honestly disheartening. We're 5 months in and still no real answers. That's all we want.
Okay, so those were the questions I'd asked. Now, a couple were from a couple of days ago, and a couple were from today. Haley was going to join the live, but she's like a lot of people. She's underneath the weather, so I'm not here to try to make her do something. Again, Haley had no problem. Like she's not trying to not do lives and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, again, right? We all know a lot of times too when family members are putting out themselves out there, they go underneath attack and stuff like that. There's one thing I can say with talking to Haley, and I've been talking with Haley, and I'm pretty sure it's okay to say this. I've been talking to her for months, like months, okay? And I've heard during many of the conversations that we have had with Jack and Lily, and just a lot of times during those clippings, when she's talked, just tears, because Haley is a mother too, right? And she has a young son. And yes, it's new. It's just from recent. And Haley allowed me to share these. And there was just a couple ones that I really wanted to ask. But like I said, I don't like to be, too intrusive, of course. Especially if somebody's underneath the weather and stuff like that, right? But very appreciative of that. But I just want to say, like, because you guys aren't the ones speaking to her that I like for the most part, right? So I'm the one that has listened multiple times to her tears, throughout when either Jack and Lily in general, anniversaries are coming up and stuff like that. And for her, like I said, Daniel is spinning this narrative towards Haley, especially lately. You guys see that with the blanket. And right, if the RCMP even for a second thought, and sorry, can't tell I'm mute here, thought that Haley planted this blanket, her ass would have been so fast being polygraphed if she had anything to do with that. But again, this is a narrative that Daniel keeps spinning, just like that whole Kent, I'm just going to mute you for a second again because that noise coming out. Right. And so he's the one that keeps saying, I 100% know that, that they're alive. He's constantly blaming Malaya. He says he's not. In the interview, he literally stood there and said, I know I have nothing to do with it. I know Malaya doesn't. I know my mommy doesn't, and it's just like, dude, how many screenshots can I show you where you are constantly blaming Malaya and knowing full well that she knows and had someone come pick up the kids? Like this, like I honestly, in my, lifetime, there's very few people that I come across that I deem as pieces of shit. Okay. Like where I deem them, they're so full of shit and they're so transparent. I can honestly say that Daniel is one of these people. After witnessing what I've personally witnessed from this man from day one to now, and I don't care, like it or lump it, I don't care. To me, Daniel is just a conniving, lying, manipulative personality who literally, I think, is clueless. And I think he believes his own lies. I think he's aware, but I honestly, truly believe that as he speaks, that he actually believes his own bullshit. And I'm sorry, but I wasn't born yesterday. A lot of you guys were not born yesterday. And when you see this type of distraction, misdirection, blaming on this one side of missing, again, these cadaver dogs would not have been brought in had they thought that the children were missing and wasting all their money on resources, because they believe in Daniel and Durwood's story, because they don't. Okay, they don't. Hence why the dog handler and Daniel goes and tries to out him again on the news channel. This man is manipulating. All right. I know exactly to me why personally he said that they were 100% alive. It's to push his narrative, right? He feels like he's building this following behind him. And I'm sorry, but this is about Jack and Lily. It's not about him, right? I mean, if he has anything to do with the case, absolutely. But still, it's about Jack and Lily. Why doesn't he really focus on Jack and Lily. He keeps focusing on himself, if you haven't noticed. Janie, boo-hoo. Okay, Janie? Boo freaking hoo. Okay, same with you. The poor Daniel syndrome, the poor Janie syndrome, and all this. And it's just like, get over yourselves, okay? It's about Jack and Lily. It does anger me because it's just ridiculous watching how, two children are missing. And this is what we have to keep listening to. Belinda has to sit here and struggle with this every day. Family members that truly want answers have to keep, watching this man as he sits there and changes his stories. But he focuses on not Jack and Lily. Okay, he can try to fool people some of the time, but he's not going to fool the smart people at any time at all with that. Okay, so Kent, I'm just going to ask you about anything that you heard, just in the 4 things of Haley, and then we'll play a new article that came out within the last hour here, but it's about 11, 12 minutes long. Well, actually,
Well, I sympathize with Haley.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear the distress in her voice.
True distress.
Yep. And I know whether anybody wants to believe it or not, I know that I'm not family, but I know what that feeling is like. Most of us, as outsiders looking in, had the same feeling. So I believe anybody who has a heart can understand the family's pain in totality. I know time does bring clarity, but there's a few things the couple things that she stated in these clips at this point in time, which I believe a lot of people believe, but it's different from what she has speculated or has said before in the past. I have a sister and a niece, and I couldn't imagine if she was missing. But
Absolutely.
I would hope that the family, which we don't see here, the family would surround their sister, half brother, whatever it is, daughter, with the love and the strength that she would need to be able to talk. Because right now, I don't know who out there has the right tip that that is going to lead the RCMP to the evidence that they need. But we all blame Daniel for pointing the finger towards Malaya. And although now he's changing his story up and saying he knows that Malaya didn't do it, well, unless they're communicating, then what's changed his mind? But the family, Malaya's family, whether they're saying it or not, is doing the same thing on their side, pointing the finger back at Daniel, because neither side of the family wants to believe that their family member is involved. And as I stated, from the time that I've come on your show, Sonny, I don't believe either one of these people, or any one of the people that were on the property, could do something to these children with intent.
Right, with the intent. Right.
Right? Something may have happened. I'm not saying that it didn't. But I don't think, and I say the two of them because I believe Jamie was out in her RV, and I know that's not that far away, and I know she said she heard the kids outside. But the responsibility ultimately comes back to the two parent figures.
Absolutely.
And we're hearing all kinds of talk and stories and speculation from one of those family members, and the other one, we're not hearing nothing. And I know she doesn't have to speak to us, and everybody thinks that she's speaking all the time to the RCMP. Well, if that is the case, explain it to me. If something nefarious happened and neither one of them can give or is giving or choosing not to give the RCMP the appropriate information they need, then who are we blaming?
Hmm. I don't think she's working with RCMP. Myself. Do you?
I can't believe it. Nope.
No. I think that if that was the case, then this case probably would have been solved by now. Because if she was, I'm sure she would be saying exactly what vehicle, perhaps, exactly, Again, they're not here to sit here and try to find two missing children that are hidden somewhere by some cockamamie story that's being, the narrative of that's been pretty thick with that lately. And again, the dog handler wouldn't have said what he said if they really thought that, and they wouldn't spend these resources if they actually. And then for Darren again to run around saying that he knows where they are, he knows who has them, that they're in a better place, he's not going to be saying who and stuff like that. Like, you people should be mad that someone's actually running around saying stuff like that.
Darren, and I know I'm sticking up for him, and I'll take whatever you want to dish at me. Darren gets excited, and I even brung it out that night that he said that in the chat. I said, Darren, are you saying that you know where the kids are at, or are you saying that you believe that you know where the kids are at? And he did correct himself, and he said believe. Now, everybody can come at me and say, Ken, all you're doing is sticking up for him, you're wrong. Well, I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm man enough to admit it.
Well,
but
go ahead.
There's no evidence, and yes, I know you can make the argument that they wouldn't have brought in cadaver dogs. Well, with the lackluster statement and the way that they put it out today, in that statement, nothing would surprise me at this moment from the RCMP, other than they come out tomorrow and they said, yeah, we found the kids here or there, dead or alive, whatever.
Mm.
I can come back and I can debate and I can argue with anybody just as much that these kids did not, the evidence proves they did not wander into the woods by themselves and get lost and succumb to the elements. If the flare can be on their back in that evening with the cool temperatures that we have, pick up 2 plastic swans and a rock from an old rock style basement that is covered in moss, and they can pick that up as a temperature change. They would be able to, that if these kids walked in the woods and they probably at least, I had this discussion with 2 creators today, they probably at least survive 24 hours. So body temperature is 98 degrees. Even if it dropped down to 80, I can guarantee you that those swans they were talking about with a heat signature and that rock that was covered from the old basement in moss that was given a heat signature, that they would have found those 2 kids too. Then as far as them walking away down the road, if it happened and I know the timelines are big questions, but if it happened in the steps that were told that it happened, then if you don't believe that Daniel could be on their heels because he was out 20 minutes later, you got to be able to look at the fact that the searchers and the dogs and the airplanes and not the airplanes, he wasn't running faster than airplanes, drones and 1 or 2 helicopters out of the 3, because the other one was still over at the other search, for their resources to be on site as quick as they were. And if they would have been just wandering down the sides of the roads, you don't think that they would have found them? So those 2 scenarios are out. So if they're in the woods, someone helped them get there and they're outside of the search area because they weren't detected on the other methods. And we know that the woods was too thick for them to wander through. So we're eliminating scenarios here pretty quickly.
Well, that's just it.
And I know different people believe different things, and you totally have the right to believe what you the way that you interpret the statements, evidence, and whatever else. But the statement still is 100% accurate that these kids just did not get up and disappear.
Absolutely not. No. Now, Kent, are you done there? Because I want to
Yep.
get on. Okay, no, just wanted to make sure. Now, the only thing I will say from that as well is that, and you can have, just like anyone has, like Ken has a right, to, if he wants to talk to Daniel or Darren or whoever. I just think myself that Darren is a big boy and he has a mouth and he knows what's coming out of his mouth and he can make corrections himself and stuff like that, instead of making himself look like a total idiot running around saying stuff like that. He is, Darren does speak off his tongue a lot, right? And so I do understand that, knowing that Darren has spoken on here, he gets heated very fast, right? He gets very, very defensive very fast. It's not a great trait that he has, to be honest with you, in that, but he's old and it's hard to teach a new dog, new tricks type of idea. Anyways, you guys, I want to start playing these clippings right now, and then we can get back into some questions and Kent, again, if he has to go, because he's waiting for a phone call and stuff like that. But this one is the first one, and then there was a newer one that came out like within the hour type of thing. So I'm
That's
just gonna
what I got at the beginning.
yeah. So thanks, Kent, for sending this earlier. And
the 4- and 6-year-old went missing in May from their home in Lansdowne, and there hasn't been any sign of them since. The CBC's Angela McIver has the latest developments in the case.
5 months after Jack and Lily Sullivan vanished, their stepfather Daniel Martell says he continues to search for answers and cooperate with police. That included when cadaver dogs recently came to his property.
I come home and the dogs were already, on scene, and they were there for about an hour before I got there. I didn't know the exact day when the arrival was going to happen. So it was even a surprise to me, but at the end of the day, everything's ruled out there, and I hope this speculation, turns elsewhere.
2 dogs trained to detect human remains were brought in from British Columbia the week of September 22nd. They spent about 3 days searching a total of 40 kilometers for evidence of the 2 missing children.
They didn't locate any human remains or anything associated to this file or any open files.
Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon is the officer in charge of major crime and behavioral sciences in Nova Scotia. He says the dogs scoured the Lansdowne property where the siblings lived. They also sniffed the woods where a pink blanket was previously found and a nearby pipeline and intersecting trails. He wouldn't confirm whether people were questioned during the latest search, but Martell tells CBC one of the RCMP dog handlers had tough questions for him about the day before the children disappeared.
He said that Thursday didn't have enough details, and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. And I said to him that Thursday was just an ordinary day. Until.
Hold on a second.
Donnie, I don't know what I did there, but can you delete that comment? I don't know what it's about.
Did you put it there?
Yeah. I pressed the button. It says new to streaming or looking for level up. Check out StreamYard. Get a $10 discount.
Delete comment. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm here to tell you that Friday morning was not a normal day. Bullshitter. BS. Call him bullshit. Because I know it's bullshit. Thank you.
I woke up on Friday morning, and that's when life changed.
Martell says the cadaver dog searched inside his trailer and police even looked under his deck. McCammon says his team is prepared to keep working on this case until it's solved.
This is not something that we stop working on. We've got 2 young children, Lily and Jack, who've gone missing from their home, and it is a Missing Persons Act investigation still at this time. But we need to find answers to that. There's a lot of legitimate public concerns about how 2 children go missing and we can't find them. So we're going to continue until we have answers.
He says bringing dogs back to these woods again could be a possibility if new information suggests they missed something. Angela McIver, CBC News, Lansdowne.
Okay, so 1 second here. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the full clip of this one. And like I said, it had come out not that long ago. And let's see here. I got to make sure. Grab the right one. 11:54. Okay. There we go.
In the community on the property where the children went missing.
Mm-hmm.
What did they find?
Well, they did not find or identify any scent of human remains during their search. So they searched the property around the family's home. They searched the area where we found the pink blanket, the pipeline area, and the intersecting trails. And they didn't. The dogs didn't indicate on any scent of human remains during those searches.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that they didn't locate any human remains or anything associated to this file or any open files. So there was no human remains found. It means that we've basically completed that area of the search. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's no possibility that there isn't human remains there. There could have been chance the dogs maybe missed it or whatever. But at the end of the day, we haven't located any human remains.
So it doesn't mean that there is not human remains there.
There's always a possibility that maybe the scent didn't hit the dog that day or what have you, but we're confident in the search patterns that were deployed and based on the best practices of our police dog services human remains detection handling unit. And we were confident in the search done, but we did not find human remains.
Help the public understand how there could still be a possibility, though. What other factors could be at play?
Well, I mean, the conditions at the time were good for the work we were doing, but I'm not entirely sure of exactly the technical things or the technical kind of terms to use associated to why they wouldn't have got seen or how something could be found in the area. But regardless, they could be tucked away in different areas. There could be anything that could have caused an odor not to be picked up by the dog. But again, to our best practices and the training and expertise of our PDS handling unit, we feel we've exhausted the area as best as we can.
Really, there's no way you could say with 100% certainty.
There just isn't a way I could say with 100% certainty. There's the reality is we're dealing with nature and things could happen that we don't understand right now. And at the end of this, when we find out where Jack&LILLY are and bring them home, then we should have those answers and understand better.
How many days were the teams on the ground?
I believe it was around 3 days that the teams associated to this particular search, and they searched roughly 40 kilometers of area during that time.
And what do you mean by 40 kilometers? Is that?
Well, they do, again, I'm not a PDS dog handler, so I can't talk about all the specifics, and I wouldn't talk about all the specifics related to an investigation, but in general.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is back in Ottawa today with no deal, though, to lift
dogs that are trained to detect human remains.
Sorry about that.
Were in the community on the property where
somebody asked what it was, and it's CBC, Nova Scotia there. 1 second. My bad. Where did I finish off here? Let's try here. Hold on.
You could say with 100%. How many days were the teams on the ground?
I believe it was around 3 days that the teams associated to this particular search, and they searched roughly 40 kilometers of area during that time.
And what do you mean by 40 kilometers? Is that?
Well, they do, again, I'm not a PDS dog handler, so I can't talk about all the specifics, and I wouldn't talk about all the specifics related to an investigation, but in general, they run certain search patterns, and they do, certain techniques and drills to kind of put the dogs out there and do the searching. So to say exactly how that looks, but they covered roughly 40 kilometers of area during the 3 days that they were searching. It covered all the areas that we felt were relevant to our investigation.
Did they search inside the trailer?
I would have to get back to you for specifics on that, but they did search in and around the property. I wouldn't be able to answer for sure right now. I could quickly find them. We'll get Stratcoms to find that answer, but I'm not sure if they went inside, but they did do the whole property around and the area around there, the pipeline trails, where the pink blanket's at, and then intersecting paths and areas. So.
Did one of the handlers question the children's stepfather, Daniel Martell?
I can't comment on what was said between Mr. Martell and the dog handler. That's really not something I'm aware of or have knowledge on, and I don't have any comment there. So,
would it be
a liar.
Common practice for a dog handler to question people who are involved in investigation?
There may be circumstances. I mean, I'm not sure that there's strict protocols on talking or not talking. I mean, when a dog handler, and maybe not protect this circumstance, but if you show up somewhere and you need to use a dog, you would probably gather some information to help you get that started. So there could be reasons for sure for PDS to be talking to somebody at the scene to get the information they need. But again, there's no solid and fast rules on that. So yeah, there may, they may talk to people when they deploy, when they may not. So.
Given there were no human remains detected and that these were locations that were the highest areas of probability, is there any other possibility of cadaver dogs being brought in again?
Absolutely. If we have information or evidence or facts that suggest that there'd be benefit to bringing in whatever resources available to the RCMP, we will look at deploying that resource when it's relevant, pertinent, and beneficial to the investigation. So if there were information or anything that we needed to do or an area we needed to cover again or anything like that, then we would look at bringing them back in and having that done.
What happens now?
Now we continue on with our investigative work. Nothing stopped from the second day of this investigation when major crime took carriage and began collating and sorting and organizing the information and planning the investigation. We haven't stopped. We've talked with a number of people. We've got over 1,000 taskings that we're still creating new ones and developing new areas to gather information from. We've reviewed over 8,000 videos, thousands of hours of video from the area. And we've done an extensive ground search using both technical capabilities, partner agencies, GSAR, DNR, to as thoroughly as we possibly can search the area around the home and those other areas that I mentioned. And that's that. If we continue to gather information, make decisions based on that, and if those information suggests that we need to do more searching, we will.
So the investigation hasn't let up since May 2nd?
No, it has not let up and it won't. This is not something that we stop working on. We've got 2 young children, Lily and Jack, who've gone missing from their home. And it is a Missing Persons Act investigation still at this time. But we need to find answers to that. There's a lot of legitimate public concerns about how 2 children go missing and we can't find them. So we're going to continue until we have answers.
RCMP have been conducting forensic testing, including on the pink blanket that you mentioned. What can you say about what results came back or what we know about the forensic testing?
Of course, I can't say much about the details because, it's part of our investigation and there's a process we go through and we don't want to put out much information. But we've been working with our National Laboratory Services to have the DNA testing done and to get any type of testing related to this investigation in as timely manner as possible.
It's been at least a week since the dog handlers were on site. Why is there a lag in informing the public of what they didn't find?
Well, I'm not sure about the lag. We put our information together. We wanted to make sure that we provide accurate information to the public, and both that and some availability for me to be able to come and talk to the public. We wanted to make sure that I had that availability. So there was some delays about that, and we didn't have immediate information that we felt was going to change or collect evidence for us or change the direction of the investigation. So we felt we should maintain an organizational approach to this and make sure that we're prepared to provide the information we have and set up these QAs. So that's a bit of the delay, but basically there wasn't immediate information we felt we needed to share with the public, and that we would take the time to get our messaging in line and set up the meetings like this. So
you're a major crimes investigator, and yet this case is being investigated under the Missing Persons Act. Is that still the case?
Absolutely. Yes, it is, under the Missing Persons Act. One of the things that major crime brings is the ability to collect, manage, collate, organize, and review large volumes of information using some of our standard practices on information control and management. So when you have a file like this that's large, we do support an investigative capacity. So there are other areas that sometimes major crime would support an investigative capacity, larger incidents that maybe aren't necessarily the specifics of major crime, but they need that extra added boost for file management, information management, things like that. So we do support different areas like that, but we are the lead on this investigation because of the large size, the volume, and our ability to interconnect different parts of the RCMP to kind of understand what their capabilities are and bring to bear on a given situation. So that's part of the reason why that we remain involved in the lead in the investigation.
So to be clear, it's currently not a criminal investigation.
No, we don't have any. We haven't collected any evidence or facts or information that suggests criminal investigation or charges or anything like that at this time. So we are still investigating a Missing Person Act.
The news release today mentioned you're exploring all possibilities. I think a lot of people are wondering what the possibilities are here.
Yeah. Of course, I can't talk about our investigative theories in our direction, but we part of the role of being investigators to be unbiased and collect information and fact to make decisions based on that. So we continue to do that. We will continue to do that until we have the answers we need to bring Jack and Lily home.
What would you say to members of the public, members of the family who really want answers?
What I would say to them is that we are grinding as hard as we can to get those answers for them. We want the answers as much as everyone else. We're family people. We have children, we have families, we're aunts, uncles, grandparents, we're everything, not a grandparent yet, but we have the same connections to our communities and our families as everyone else. And we understand the concern. We are concerned, and we are, working hard to gather all the information that we can to get the answers to bring Jack and Lily home, and we won't stop that.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to, thank the public for the cooperation and information that they have provided. I would like to just identify that if anybody does have any further information or facts or evidence or anything that they feel could assist us in locating Jack and Lily, to please call us, and we will follow up and gather that information and follow up with that. So, but we do appreciate that. And I would like to say that, this is a very tough time for the public at large, the investigators, but especially the family. I can't imagine what they must be going through. We're doing the best we can to get answers for them and everybody else in this situation.
The end of that. All I heard myself throughout all this, and then I'll meet you in a second here. All I personally heard myself was your typical shit that they always say. They're watching every word that they say, obviously. So I still think that absolutely they have pieces to the puzzle, but nothing that's substantial enough. And again, so I just call this your typical RCMP update. Here's what we don't know, which is, probably quite a bit at this point, obviously. But definitely, is there more behind the scenes? Absolutely. They're not going to sit there and lay out their cards for them. But it's just, but are they close to solving this case? I don't think so at this point. Ken, just your takeaway. This is just your typical, say your statements that you typically kind of say. You're watching exactly what you're saying. You're not going to let anything slip. And as for that dog handler bullshit, dude, you're freaking lying right to us about that. Damn well. But again, are they going to sit there and give out their cards? Now, I want to say this. So Daniel told us that they told him that the blanket was planted, right? Now, again, Daniel, I mean, like I said, I don't think he knows his ass from a hole in the wall when it comes to telling the truth, to be honest with you on this stuff. Like I said about, he's saying that it's still a missing persons investigation, absolutely, obviously, right? Again, I think that they made some huge mistakes at the start. One of them included not cordoning off the home of Jack and Lily and keeping people from contaminating any potential evidence, let alone, again, we learned that it was air scent dogs, right? Sweet. You got all these people around and they're really going to pick up, scent of somebody. That's it. Right. Anyways. And so, yeah, so we thought that it was more scent specific. I think that would have made a huge difference in this. At the end of the day, it's just your typical that they're blowing the shit up our ass, and they probably have some things for sure. But, to sit there for Daniel to say that they said that the blanket was planted, obviously that would show criminality. As for the dog handler, I absolutely believe that Daniel is so stupid. Okay, this man is so stupid. He actually thinks that saying that stuff is actually somehow making him look better and stuff like that, as if they're veering off course to his whole hidden theory shit and stuff like that. Nah. Those were said to him for a reason. 2 children just don't disappear. We're limited to exactly really the main idea of what happened to Jack and Lily, right? Not in the woods, not some random abduction, hidden, whatever. Okay. If they believe that for a second, trust me, they would have been on that and doing that type of thing. They wouldn't have been pulling in no dogs at all. No, they don't believe that the children are alive. Most people don't believe that the children are alive. And then it's just a matter of where the truth lies, who has the information, who can bring it out, and who can be that person that can, give that obviously tip that would, and like any case really, right? Takes that one tip. But anyways, Kent, your thoughts on this whole piece?
Well,
Back?
disappointing.
Mhm.
They're still, and I know they, like anybody that lives in Canada, they know that the RCMP isn't going to tell us stuff. We've got those documents, but those documents were a month and a half old by the time we got them. We don't know if that was the status at the time of release, of whether that's still where they believed everything was. I think it's time to pull everybody back in that gave us statements, see how close it matches up or doesn't. Yeah, it's just mind baffling that, and I think if they're going to continue to ask us to create tips and generate tips of information for them, they could give us details of what they're focusing on to take away the distraction tips. Because if they received 860 tips, I'd like to know how many of those tips that they think are credible in association. Not that they're leading them to one place or one thing or another, but it'll lead us and allow us to focus our information where it needs to be and eliminate those irrelevant tips before they get made as tips. And I think that's everybody's job here as creators, as individuals of the public, is who is going to solve this. If the people that are involved, which I know they're afraid of going to jail, but if they can't talk, then we have to be the ones that talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you done? Or
Yep.
Okay. So you guys, there's this article here by the Globe and Mail as well. I'm just gonna let that thingy read it. Let's try that sucker. Listen to this page. Let's see, 5 minutes. Gonna play that out.
Not more AI.
Hey, yeah, well, yeah, whatever this is. Whatever. Yeah. Let's see, does it work? Play. Oh my God, I gotta create an account. Wait, why do I have to create an account now? Like before, it used to just play. Frick off. I ain't creating an account. Read it my damn self. Pretty sure I already have an account, though. Whatever. Okay, whatever. I'll use my voice. Anyways, okay. So dogs specifically trained to pick up scent of human remains did not find the two children who have been missing from the rural Nova Scotia for more than 5 months. RCMP announced Wednesday as they renewed calls for information in the disappearance for Lily and Jack Sullivan. Lily 6 and Jack 4 were reported missing on May 2nd. when police received a 911 call from their mother saying that they wandered away from their home in Lansdowne, a sparsely populated community in Pictou County, about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. Sergeant Rob McCammon said that the 2 dog teams that traveled from British Columbia, you're welcome. All right, well, I shouldn't say you're welcome because we didn't find anything. So I take that back. Searched a total of 40 kilometers over 3 days in late September. Inspector Luke Reddy and his police dog Narc, that's one that Daniel's saying that called him out basically. And again, dude, I absolutely believe that he did, and I absolutely believe that what's the guy's name that was just on screen a few minutes ago talking for 11 minutes there. I think he's like, I'm just gonna say I just personally think he's full of shit. But again, right, I mean, there's different things, kind of like when Logan was talking about Daniel in that one interview. I knew full well when she was lying and when she wasn't, because I already knew the truth about that stuff. But, you know, she kind of stumbled over a few things. Well, again, they know darn right about that stuff. But, you know, obviously things are not just going to outwardly say. But I can't still believe that Daniel actually put that out there. But hey, dude, if you want to double down and, you know, and keep telling us about it, again, why do you think that they're saying that to you? You know, because you're an angel with a freaking halo over your head or something like that, that they're just going to sit there and say stuff like that? No, they believe that something happened to the children. If they believe, like Daniel Martell says, that the pink blanket is planted, which I fully believe that the pink blanket is planted, it's just a matter of, you know, finding Jack and Lily. Where's Jack and Lily? In the vast amount of trees and all that stuff that's out there, the water and all that stuff, where is Jack and Lily? Was I hoping for more? Obviously, yes, but come on, we got such a big grid of where these 2 children could be. And, you know, does that account of a vehicle, you know, 6 times, about 25 minutes approximately each way, going back and forth? Is that true? You know, Daniel sat there, I just want to say this too, and he claims that, you know what, Thursday was just a normal day. Well, what about the fact of Malaya saying that, you know, you were doing drugs and that she had woken up and, you know, and with the whole, like, it's not like, the whole drug thing is not like it's untrue, right? He even admitted on DT, but the thing is that, to me, in my personal opinion, is that, yeah, Daniel lied about that. Like when the last time he did the drugs was. What about the argument that day? What about the argument that night? You know, all these little details, Daniel, that you're not telling us about and stuff like that. Like I said, you know, I've seen some shit recently to do with Daniel Martell, and I'm not going to tell you what that is, but I'm just going to say, yeah, dude, if I wanted to, I could totally, you know, get the public to see you in an even bigger douchebag light than you're already seen. I'll just leave it at that. Daniel knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? And he's scared. You know, he's scared probably that information will end up finding its way out on there. Because, again, when you guys think that Daniel is this manipulative, conniving person that has never abused the kids or Malaya and stuff like that, right? Again, take anything that man says with the biggest grain of salt that you ever heard, because Daniel's true colors are right there in front of your face. And again, even with the information that I'm not going to tell you about, but just know it just matches exactly what you're already seeing. Even let's even double that down. Let's actually triple that down, to be honest with you. So you guys are not being misled at all. What you see is a full-blown narcissistic personality that has that believes in his own shit, that manipulates people, that lies. You know, he tries to act like Malaya's lying, that Malaya has the children hidden and all that stuff. You know, that Haley's doing this. Look at where the source is coming from, and then ask yourself, do you believe anything hardly out of that man's mouth? Right? He's already proven to show exactly his true colors. So why are we even remotely trying to believe at all that the person that is being manipulative, lying, deception and all that stuff, you know, and that's spreading so much shit, the one that's always talking about himself, you know, versus Jack and Lily the most? Why would anyone believe that and believe anything he says about that Haley planted the blanket, that Malaya has the children, and he can't even keep a consistent story. It's ridiculous. Like, it's just beyond ridiculous with him, and one day the karma is going to come bite him in the ass so badly just for being the human being that he is, to this day, regardless if he had anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I seen someone make a comment about, oh, is Daniel going to sue content creators that say he's guilty? Well, to the ones that say he's guilty, that know that for a fact. Like I said, that's their own channels. Here, we always use speculation and our opinions, allegedly, and all that different stuff, because we are allowed to have our opinions. There's nothing you can do about that. I can have my opinion. You can have your opinion. We can have our opinions, as long as you don't literally sit there and claim that somebody did something and that they murdered 2 children when you have no facts basis around that. And we don't. And as for the questions about Daniel Martell's 4 questions about, did you murder? Were you an accessory? Okay, if you guys look like Daleen had pointed out, is that the questions are different. If you look at Maria's questions, her 4 questions, they're not the same as Daniel's. Daniel's are longer if you look at the actual documents, and Malaya's are different. Okay, Malaya was asked probably different questions, and hers are a lot shorter. So again, 4 questions, does that make them, innocent and anything like that? Nah, come on. Like I said, people can sit there and try to shine their shit to me. I'm not personally buying it. That's my opinion, and that's how I feel. When I watch deception going on for this long, and to think that this is normal, and to think that this is how people portray themselves when they're actually innocent and stuff like that, no. Like I said, go watch true people that are actually innocent of, their children missing or a loved one missing and stuff like that. And then come back to this case and see what a joke it is, for telling the truth. And Daniel Martell has been the biggest voice, for trying to give his narrative spin and stuff like that. I mean, it's like a dog that you just cannot kick off your leg. He just keeps coming back and back and back and pushing his narrative. He's trying to sell this shit to all you guys and stuff like that. Sorry. Again, unless I fell off a turnip truck yesterday, which I did not, I ain't buying any of his shit. There's some truth in there, absolutely, but there's a lot of misleading and lies. Why do you have to lie when 2 children are missing? Make it about Jack and Lily. Stop making it about yourself. Who gives a shit about your ego and all this justification? People just want answers for Jack and Lily. And how you're representing Jack and Lily, to me, Daniel, and both Malaya too, is a joke, right? A mother that's not really speaking out, and she can make all her, things and say things like, well, I don't regret, waiting this long and whatever. No, she doesn't have to, but she still owes Jack and Lily a voice, by just coming out and asking the public just to say, help, speak to some news here and there. Even if she's not on camera, at least talk to maybe the news and just say, look, I really want to find out what happened to my babies, et cetera, et cetera. Unless, of course, she knows. I mean, she left the property that next day, right? What mother really does that? Belinda felt like, the minute that she left the property is that she knew exactly what happened to the children. Exactly. So, you know what? Those are my thoughts. Does it make it true? No. But it's very odd when somebody does something like that, and then they turn around from social media, and then they sit there and they take down their Facebook page of Daniel, and then they put up, and then they take it down, put it up, take it down, put it up, and stuff like that. So where are the priorities there, right? Not really utilizing their Facebooks to sit there and ask for help and just keep posting new things with regards to the case and stuff like that. We're not seeing that type of thing, right? From either of them, really, right? And a lot of it just reminds me of, and it could be true, like what Nietzsche said about Daniel, right? Daniel, are you trying to build your case for Meadow by trying to keep blaming Malaya for things and stuff like that, as if you would have sent them to school? But I mean, your awesomeness is amazing, right? I mean, just how much you love yourself, talk about yourself over Jack and Lily, right? It's just ridiculous, to be honest with you, right, Daniel? Again, he's like, to me, one of the biggest idiots that I've watched personally in a case where this man can never, has so many contradictories to what he says. It's ridiculous. Like it's beyond ridiculous, to be honest with you. And so when that stuff's going on and you're trying to sell your own shit all the time about how innocent you are, ask yourself, really, well, again, between your lips and God's ears, Daniel, right? Truth will come out with Jack and Lily's case. When exactly? Who knows? But again, I'm not going to sit there and buy any of your shit at all. What I care about is Jack and Lily and the fact that these two children need voices and they need people to keep speaking out for them, and that we do need someone that has that tip, that answer, that's not coming forth with it and stuff like that, that has the ability, because we all know that there are people there that absolutely have the answers for Jack and Lily. So I gotta say about that. So McCammon, the officer in charge of major crime and behavioral sciences in Nova Scotia, said locations have the highest probability of finding the children, but they were not found. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's no possibilities, that there isn't human remains there. McCammon said in an interview Wednesday, but we feel we've exhausted the areas as best we can. I mean, how much could they have exhausted in 3 days, to be honest with you? The children's disappearance in early May previously sparked an extensive grid search, spanned 8.5 kilometers. Dense woods involved 160 ground search, rescue volunteers, service dogs, drones, and helicopters. The mysterious nature of the case, fueled by a lack of answers, has garnered international attention. RCMP say that the Northeast Major Crime Unit continues to follow up on their 860 tips, 8,060 video files that have been reviewed in forensic testing. A sleuth units are working the case and have since May, said McCammon. I guess that's McCammon, this guy here. McCammon also renewed calls, tips for the public. Okay, well, we know about that part. This is not something that we stopped working on. We are grinding as hard as we can, he said. And I believe that. I believe that they're grinding as hard as they can to find answers for Jack and Lily. I do believe that. Does that mean that they didn't make mistakes, at the start, which has been very costly to the case? In my opinion, I believe that they have. And that happens sometimes in a lot of cases, especially with inexperienced crimes that they're not used to, that's how I see it, versus kind of like a New York style thing where like these are a dime a dozen, these cases, like meaning that there's always things going on, where here it's a small rural town in Pictou County, right? And they're just not used to this, and let alone do we seem to have the resources, which sucks. There's a lot of legitimate public concerns about 2 children going missing and we can't find them. So we're going to continue until we have answers. McCammon said that the dogs could have always be called back, right? Which they talked about in that press conference before. In an interview Wednesday, the children's stepfather, Daniel, detailed how the dog team searched around the property and inside the home during the week of September 22nd. You know how he couldn't answer that, Kent? I mean, seriously, dude. Like, you couldn't answer the fact if you knew if the dogs actually went inside the home or not? It's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Shit, I actually don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you. What do you think on that? Kent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Wake you. Were you sleeping?
Nope.
What were you?
I had my mic muted.
No, you weren't. You weren't muted. I looked
Or
down.
I thought I was.
What do you think of the fact of, when he was talking about that he didn't even know if the dogs had gone in the house or not?
Oh, Daniel or McCammon?
When McCammon said he didn't know if the dogs had gone in the house or not.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be on scene.
No, but you would think well, obviously they would be the ones to kind of set out what was going to happen. You would think, he would be in the know of exactly where they're going to.
He should be in the know after the fact to be able to answer it. Yes, but he was not likely on scene.
No, not that he was on scene, but I mean, you would think that he would actually know if the dog, like if when they're preparing to do this search, that he would have knowledge that the dogs would be going on the grounds and in the home and stuff like that.
Well, to me, it would be the same thing for vehicles. But any information that I can track down, and I'm not saying that I have all the information, folks, but what I'm saying is I'm thinking there was probably 8 to 10 vehicles.
Yeah.
That people would have access to from that scene the night the kids went missing, or the night before. And from my understanding, The only one that the dogs went through was Janie's, because when the dogs were getting ready to leave the property, Janie said, what about vehicles? Are you going to take them? And they said no. Same as when Haley or whoever it was made the statement about the original dogs going in the house. They didn't see the point in that. And Janie said, yeah, you're going to my vehicle, because the first thing that online is going to say when you are gone and you didn't search my vehicle is, how come I didn't allow you to search it? So she said, you take the dogs through my vehicle. And as far as I know, that I talking to anybody, hers was the only vehicle that was done.
Whose vehicle?
Janie's.
Oh, Janie's. Huh.
So if that's another thing that you question, like, and everybody's, and somebody's gonna have to explain to me. I might be dunce, I don't know, but to me, if it happened the night before, and if you're talking between the midnight and 6 a.m., as the neighbor reported hearing a vehicle, if that all happened the night before, isn't there more time there that if anything nefarious happened on the property, that the likelihood is that the bodies would be on the property long enough to leave the decomposition markers that the dogs could pick up on? To me, I think that would be a higher possibility. And if the dogs still didn't hit on the property or in the trailer or wherever, we know that they searched the property, then the next thing logically to me would be running them through the vehicles that were accessible to the property that night before.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that seems to be done.
Well,
and I question that, and I don't know how anybody can explain that to me to make sense.
Yeah, I get
You
that.
all have my phone number and my email, and if anybody wants to tell me, call me, because I can't understand that.
Go ahead. Just lay out your phone number and email again. I know what your email is, but
Email is kentcorbett81@gmail.com. And my phone number is out there plenty enough that
right.
look me up on Google and you'll find it, because it's a business phone number, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And just quickly, let's see here. Okay, that's the end of that one. I have to talk to Lindsay in a bit, because she said, did you read the Globe and Mail article? So I only see 2 on there. So I'll have to ask her which is the one she's talking about. Now, I just want to point this out. Obviously, you guys can read this message here. Belinda Gray is being a voice for Jack and Lily, asking Malaya, if you are watching, Malaya, you know how much we love the kids and how supportive we are of you. You've spent 2 years there. You know something. So please stand up for Jack and Lily. Stand up for your babies. Absolutely. How many times when Malaya was speaking with me in that conversation, pretty much every other sentence was, I just want my babies home. I just want my babies back. Basically, yes, I believe that they're still out there. What mother wouldn't think that and stuff like that? So be a voice for your children, Malaya, because these are not Daniel's children. These are your children, right? These are Cody's children. These are Belinda's paternal grandchildren and stuff like that. Be a voice. You're the mother. You are in care of Jack and Lily on the property. Be a voice for Jack and Lily. These children deserve the answers. And that's what, I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody, and again, talking about Belinda and just about, again, and these other family members that just want, answers for Jack and Lily. They wake up every day with a huge hole in their heart, right? Now, Belinda and Chelsea, you guys have been, in many different live stream, trying to, listen to the different things, being a voice for Jack and Lily. And it's just heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. Just that these are children. These are just simply innocent children of anything. To literally have to look at these beautiful faces staring at you all the time, to wake up, right? And I'm not family, and you guys aren't family, most of you, but you guys understand by having your own children as a mother, right? What you would be doing for those children, to be a voice for them. Not one, but two children. Two children are missing. And to sit there and just have to physically look at these two children each day, that these families that truly care about Jack and Lily miss and love, and they don't know what the hell is going on between, where does the truth lie, right? Again, in Malaya's family, it's a mixture, I believe, of, and we heard Daniel from the Drug Turkey Show talk about that too. It's like a mixture of feelings, like, and who knows about the Daniel Martell side? I'm sure that there is. I'm sure that there's definitely a mixture of feelings going on. Like, right, two children just don't disappear, right? They just don't disappear. It's that simple. And if they're not in the woods, and the chance of a random abduction are so astronomically low, right? And again, if they felt like they were hidden, so where does that lead you back to, if you're thinking about this logically? Because they're not going to waste all these resources on dogs if the children are actually out there hidden by somebody all these months later. They didn't have no sense of digital data, right? Again, so let's go back to the source. The source is that property. And the source is that there was 3 people on that property, but 2 people in care of Jack and Lily. And that's Daniel and Malaya. So for me, again, like Belinda says, be a voice for Jack and Lily. If you have answers, regardless of what those answers are, again, if you have those answers, do it for Jack and Lily. They deserve it. It's just so ridiculous to me watching what's going on when this involves children. It's so, I can't even, there's no words that can express when you're looking at 2 children on a screen and you're watching what's going on, and that most people wouldn't be offended by what they're watching during a case. Right? When honesty is being genuine and true, you would hear it, you would feel it. But that's not what you're hearing. But does Jack and Lily need more voices from the family members that want to find answers for Jack and Lily? They do. They deserve it. Cindy already said to somebody, I already showed that screenshot a few days ago, that, social media and that, it's not her, how she rolls. It's not her circus type of thing. It's not her way. But at the end of the day, does that stop them from going to the news channels just to sit there, put out their voices for Jack and Lily, right? Just to know that we know that they're still putting out their voices. So I want to say again, if you never did listen to the start of this, near the start of this live, I played 4 questions that I had asked Haley, which is Malaya's stepsister, about this. Thank you again, Haley, for talking to me, for being a voice for Jack and Lily. And again, I've listened to Haley over the course of quite a few months, okay? And again, it's someone who's really upset, well, very upset, extremely upset, that we're at 5 months. And throughout those times that I've talked to her, as she's talking and saying stuff, right, the tears are coming out and stuff like that, stuff that you guys don't hear, that I've heard, listening. There's true genuine tears coming about when you're talking to Belinda and you see Belinda on her interviews and stuff. You feel the sincerity, like you don't even have to question it, you just feel it. When Daniel speaks, what do you guys feel? Like you want to go to the toilet and take a big dump? just because that's pretty much what you feel every time that that man opens his mouth. I have no desire, nothing against Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show, but I really have no desire to mostly watch any of that content because I don't want to listen to Daniel's bullshit anymore. I don't want to listen to Janie's crap or Durwood's crap and stuff like that. I don't care really overly, besides kind of like pulling out his BS as always, but to sit there and listen to them all the time, perpetuating this bullshit about that the children are hidden. Dang it, like, oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start or stop with that man. All I know is, regardless of anything to do with the case, to me, he's just an embarrassment to himself, to this case, to Jack and Lily and stuff like that. And maybe one day when he actually starts telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and even then, again, maybe only when the case is solved, I'll actually believe a word that comes out of his mouth, have hindsight to look back on and stuff like that. But dude, you are showing no signs of truthfulness coming out of you. There was a couple, I know that he was talking to Hidden in the Fog and spewing his narrative crap and stuff like that again, oh, woe is me and blah, 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 blah stuff. And again, I just find it boring. But whatever. I mean, I know that, like, for me as a content creator, yeah, like, I don't do things for the clicks and views and stuff like that. If someone, gets old and boring to me like Daniel does, with his lies and stuff like that, after a while, it's just so nauseating, to be honest with you. Jack and Lily are missing. And I'm literally going to sit here and listen to this guy keep saying, talk about himself and how wonderful and great he is and how much he's doing stuff for Jack and Lily. Nah. Okay. No. Okay. It's pretty evident how much that man just admires his own self-worth and thinks that he's the greatest and he does nothing wrong. And every time there's anything, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a blanket, it's always deflection to somebody else. Like, always deflection to everything. So imagine being so right about everything all the time, right? That's Daniel's world, because he just deflects. But he's so stupid that he literally tells you about what the dog handler said. He honestly. Daniel, karma's gonna come bite you in the ass recently for all your freaking lying and all the stuff that screenshotted on you, dude. Like, seriously, it's going to blow up in your face. And when it does, you deserve every ounce of it. When you fuck with children and stuff like that, no offense, when you fuck with children, and then karma comes to bite you in the ass when you're playing games involving two children, doesn't matter, right? Even if you had nothing to do with it. If this is how you're representing Jack and Lily, you know what? Like I said, walk the freaking walk of shame all day long, dude. Because again, I'm not falling for your crap. Okay, that was my big spill. You guys, sorry. Sometimes I go off on him, and it's just because, honestly, like, I don't even know, like, how does that guy still message me sometimes, right? And still be like, Sonny, watch out for these, or watch out for fake accounts, watch out for this. Dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously, why do you even talk to me? You know how I feel. I don't like you as a person at all. All because of Jack and Lily's case. It's because your personality, right, is like many others out there. People that just honestly nauseate you whenever they open their mouth. You tried to believe him at the start, but then Daniel did it to himself. He literally has laid his own path for why people don't believe him. And whenever I've said that to him, it's almost like he gets offended, as if he's like, what? What do you mean? Like, dude, it's because, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying your bullshit. And most people are going to get sick of it after a while. They're just going to get tired of your inconsistencies. Oh, that was one of the latest ones. Let me just show that screenshot on this one. There's a couple there. I don't know. 1 second. Now, Ken, did you have anything to say while I was going off my rant right there for a second?
Well, butterflies are free to fly. Is asking Haley to talk to Malaya and clear her conscience. And I believe that there's not much contact there amongst family members. If I'm correct in saying that, Sonny, is that what we're
Say that one more
Not
time.
not that there's no contact between them, but there's little contact between. Like the person asked Haley if she would be able to convince Malaya to speak. And from what we're hearing, although other people aren't necessarily seeing it, there's not a lot of daily communication between all the family. Is there like?
Well, there's not, like, Haley doesn't talk to her sister every day and stuff like that.
But
right?
what I'm saying is she's asking the same questions we are asking, right?
What Haley had said, which I've said already, is that Malaya's story is really no different than what you guys heard in the interview. So, so it's not like there's this groundbreaking or shattering information that Haley has with Malaya and stuff like that, right? Only when Malaya decides to open up her mouth. Other than that, what the interview of what Malaya said is the same story or whatever you want to call it that she is still saying to this day, right? So, again, it's like what she's hearing really is pretty much with maybe a little bit more because obviously, Malaya has spoken to people and stuff like that, a couple people, and have told people about Daniel waking up and Daniel doing drugs and stuff like that, right? There's a few little tidbits there, but as for Haley sitting there, beating her sister down in a set to sit there and keep hammering her to go, tell us what happened and stuff like that. No, I mean, I can't speak for Haley, Malaya, and all that stuff about if Haley tells me that the same story that Malaya is telling the interviews is the same story that she's telling the family members. Well, again, that really just tells you that Malaya is not saying anything. That, is it something to hide perhaps? Have knowledge? Absolutely could be. I don't know. Again, it would just be nice if Malaya would stand up for her children and stuff like that. But her leaving the next day, I think said a lot about how a lot of people feel like that she knew. And that's why she ended up, in a sense, leaving, meaning she was obviously wanting to leave Daniel anyway. But, whatever happened that night of that Daniel's trying to make sound like it was just like any other night, just like any other night. And he's like, yeah, when I read the documents, yeah, I went in before nighttime and stuff like that. Well, if he did, the kids would have been awake still. But yeah, my memory kind of eludes me at this point. Were they sleeping? I don't know. Did Lily say something in the morning? Yeah, well, at first I said she did. Then I took that back. Wait, then I said it again. Wait, it was Malaya that said, do you hear the children? No, wait, I said that. Wait, no, let me clear that up for you. I think that Malaya did and I didn't actually. Oh, wait, well, I was running around the kitchen looking like a moron. Malaya was just standing there, as you said on the Drunk Turkey show. So again, if Malaya is saying the same thing she said in the interview, and there's not much variance to the thing, what is her family going to do? Pin her down, force those words, any words out of her, right? I mean, like I said, we heard what Wade said he felt, by it all. He's like, lock them all up. They're a bunch of liars. Daniel does drugs, and he's abusive and all that stuff. Again, the grandma to Malaya, and just like what Haley said, like Malaya never said anything about what was going on. As we know, Malaya said that Daniel had her basically told her that she couldn't talk to anybody. Like, what does this tell you about this man, people? Come on. What's true. I live that life. So I know exactly that that's true. You start doing things for the person that you believe that you love and stuff like that. You start eliminating people out of your life. In this case, Daniel, he's a controller. Okay. He's a control freak and narcissist, and I think that that's pretty clear. And his manipulation tactics go along with that. He's trying to feed us a bunch of horseshit, But the truth is, somebody has answers for Jack and Lily, and those two people are responsible for taking care of them. And they obviously couldn't do that, or else perhaps, in my opinion, they had something to do with it. And they have full knowledge of what happened to Jack and Lily. Will that truth ever come to surface? Who knows? Don't know. We want it to. We just want answers for Jack and Lily. Whatever karma comes and bites whoever in the ass, like I said, may your day come then, right? To those people, person, whatever. Other than that, it's just answers for Jack and Lily. They deserve it. These children are innocent. How more innocent can you be than children or animals that literally just, love you, love life. They just want to be, grow up, be loved and cared for, have all those things, but kind of like Haley said, like the children never said anything. Why? I'm curious, though, Ken, why are we never hearing about this black eye besides from Daniel? And why would he tell that? And yet we seem to have no knowledge of this black eye besides from him talking about it on the Wednesday night, the night that Malaya can't remember anything that day.
I think Malaya, and I think most of us can probably see that, because I read somewhere in the chat earlier, or maybe it was you that said it, and you made a statement about Daniel saying that the kids weren't sick Friday morning, and he would have sent her to school. And so then in the chat, somebody had said, well, somebody had to be up because somebody called them in or whatever you had to do. But I said that, yeah, Malaya was up, because from Malaya's statement, she was the one that got up and Meadow was awake. So she took Meadow out of the crib and put her in bed with her and Daniel, turned the TV on for her,
Right.
and laid back down and was falling back in and out of sleep. So that was Malaya. So she would have been the last one to, or the first one up, to be able to go and check to see if they were still sick. But in my own opinion, and yeah, I know it's the source of the information is not verified independently, and it's coming from Daniel. But if we look at the way that Miss Malaya has stated to Belinda about protecting the kids from CPS, and that if it was because of the black eye that CPS went when the school called them back in December, if we put all that stuff together, then I think we can reliably suggest, speculative, that Malaya wasn't going to send Lily to school with a black eye, because she was afraid that CPS would be called again. And on the first report, they might have come out and asked for a statement of how it happened and story or events or whatever, and believed it. But would they believe that same story of a general mishappening a second time? Probably not. They would probably dig a little deeper. And in my own opinion, speculative, that yes, Lily did receive, and I don't know if it was a black eye, a scrape in the face, whatever it was, some type of remark that she, and I don't think, if these kids wouldn't have went missing on Friday, I, in my own mind, have suspicions of whether or not they would have been in school on Monday or maybe even Tuesday.
Oops. Sorry about that. Yeah. You know what the bottom line of it though, Kent, is that their shit just doesn't add up at all. Their shit, like, honestly, there's like, I mean, and then you got Patty. Patty. You can't even remember freaking a day, let alone a week ago or nothing. Again, there's a lot more in those documents, however, that we don't know. Obviously that was said and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, again, you just look at all these different constant inconsistencies. I don't know who keeps saying that their stories kind of align in a sense, or that they're saying the same things. Not really, as a matter of fact, at all. Malaya has Daniel out cold from 6:17:18 to 9:40 type of thing, right? Again, we have such the inconsistencies of, about Malaya being on the phone when she was on the phone calling. Daniel is just throwing her under the bus like crazy when you're listening to him, and how he I don't even understand how this man can keep his straight. Well, he doesn't really keep a straight face, does he? Because he always kind of has this little smirkety smirk, like, I'll take it all, I'll take the hits, right? I know that I'm the one to blame. And Marty, I think you said, you're right. Just because Daniel's a total asshole doesn't make him a murderer, right? And stuff like that. And it possibly could as well. Who knows? We don't know that. Right? It's just speculation. But from the documents and from what we've seen for 5 months and stuff like that, it's not natural. It's not natural. Okay. This is not truth telling being told here. This is a bunch of BS, kind of like that. The night just went, as its typical self. I mean, they can't even remember if they were at Tim Hortons, or Starbucks and stuff like that. Malaya can not remember a Wednesday. I'm sorry.
I think they were at both. I think they went to Tim Hortons when they got gas, and they got the kids probably some Timbits or whatever junk food you want to call it. And then they went over and she got herself her fancy cafe latte when they were over on the other side of town, because they're not close to where she was at, the Dollarama. Starbucks is completely over on the other side of town. So you didn't just forget or make a misstatement. You said that you drove across town and got yourself your latte coffee or whatever, and you got your kids Timbits and hot chocolate maybe at the...
Yeah. 1 second here. I'm just trying to I don't know why.
Tim Hortons is like, there is a Tim Hortons close to both of them, but the dollar store is on Westville Road, not over on the east side of town.
1 second here. Just want to show you how bright this man is, though. Like, I mean, again, when you watch him, sorry, you know what? I can take a shit on Daniel all day long because of his inconsistencies with the whole Jack and Lily case again, right? I mean, honestly, there's just so many, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper when it comes to Daniel. So yeah, I mean, he's the fool that keeps putting himself out there. But this one, he's definitely not the smartest bulb in this world. I'll tell you that. Sharpest tool in the shed there. But this one kind of made me laugh a little bit, because it says Jack was sleeping a little after midnight on May 2nd. I flicked on the lights and looked him both asleep. I never seen him May 2nd. So Daniel, when you're specifically saying that you saw the children because you flicked on the lights after midnight on May 1st, I'm just gonna take a guess here, but I'm pretty sure that means that it's May 2nd at that point. you know. So when I read that, so it's right. No, you did see them on May 2nd because you said it was after 12, you know. So when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, you are not the brightest bulb there at all, Daniel. So I still don't think that if Daniel and Malaya had something to do with it, like these, smart ass, people that just can connive and sit there and put a bunch of shit together. But in my opinion, still, what's possible is that this whole night of Thursday into Friday morning, which I know is like bullshit. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, Daniel, that, like I said, Daniel, why don't you tell us about the drugs when Malaya woke up and saw you doing them? What about the argument as well and stuff like that? Like, why don't you talk about that instead of keep trying to get us to believe that, you know what, I can't remember. I mean, I came in just before it got dark out. The kids went to bed about 7, 8, and stuff like that. It's most of the time frame that they're trying to say. And then you see in the documents, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and Daniel's like,
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Malaya that said that she put them in at 9 or 10 o'clock. Daniel stated when we asked him, and also in the documents, that when he come in and the time,
I didn't say
I
different.
might have put words in his mouth, because what he said when I was asking him those questions is that he said it was coming on dark or just getting dark.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, at that time of year, that would be around 8 o'clock or shortly after.
Right.
That's when it would be getting dark, because the time hasn't gone ahead yet.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks later.
Yeah. But I didn't think differently.
So, like, you can't just take one side. We have to look at them both, and it's the same as Malaya saying that Daniel was sleeping the whole time from 6:17 to 9:40 when she woke up.
We are looking at both sides, so Ken. So you actually though cut me off to say, well, wait, it's Malaya that said that, but that's exactly what I said. Is Malaya's like in the documents 9 to 10. So again, it's absolutely looking at both of what they're saying, and these two people can't come up with the same story if their life depended on it. There's just so many pieces. Hey, what Ken?
I said totally. And that's where I'm getting at the fact on the morning of is Malaya tells us that she don't know what time Daniel got up until she woke him up.
Yeah.
But how can she be so certain of that when she says that she fell asleep some herself? Maybe that's when Daniel was awake and seen Lily pop her head in the door. Right? Like the two situations don't come together.
What about
from
the lock?
Two people in the same room.
Tell me about that, though, Ken. Tell me about the lock on the door.
The lock?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, and I don't know. I've never been in the house.
Right.
Once again, I speculate that the lock is on the outside of the door.
Come on.
Well, I'm just telling you what I think.
Come on, though.
No one is going to lock their door.
Yes.
With a padlock, because that's what it sounds like it was, jiggling around. No one is going to lock their door from the inside and lock themselves in the room in case something happens.
Come on.
So obviously the lock is on the outside of the door.
Obviously not. Go ahead. Come on. Okay, tell me when, besides the storage unit, tell me when in a house you see a lock on the door from the outside.
I know people that have done it, Sonny.
Come on, Ken. Come on.
Daniel,
take a picture, Daniel.
And when those parents would be up and a bunch, now whether it was a bunch of people around or nobody around, that's when I can see them locking the door from the outside.
Okay, like you're being realistic, and you literally think that they're gonna lock Lily and Jack out from their side of the door. How are they gonna get out then? if they
That's
got
what I'm saying. That's why I say the lock is on the outside. Obviously, the door wasn't locked. He said the lock on the door was rattling when Lily came in. So that tells me that there's a padlock hanging up. It's one of those old barn style sliders that it's just the flip latch. And when they come out of the bedroom at any particular time for whatever reason, especially if they're into what we all say that they're into, then they would keep it to keep the kids from going into there and getting into something that they're not supposed to be. That's the logical way to think of it. You can't tell me that you think that Jack and Lily are up in the living room playing and they're in the bedroom doing whatever and they have the lock on, they close the door and they have the lock on the inside and lock the kids out of the bedroom when
Yeah.
they're in the bedroom.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's
No.
exactly it. Because
Sorry.
that's what people do when they're having sex or they're doing stuff like that. They turn the lock on from the inside. Why ever would somebody put a lock on the outside of the door? How the hell are they supposed to get out then if they have a lock from the outside? Does that even make sense that you're literally going to put the lock there before you can get into their
The
bedroom?
lock would only be locked if they're not in the bedroom, of course, Sonny. I'm not saying that they locked. The door wasn't obviously locked. He says that Lily went in the bedroom. So what I'm saying is that the lock and the latch is hanging up on the door case. And I know people that have done it in the past that when they get up in the morning, and my aunt was one of them, and no, people, when I say my aunt, I'm not talking about this Heidi Core because I don't know her, and as far as I know, we're not related. But I know that my aunt, she had a lock on the outside of her bedroom door, and when she get up in the morning and went out of her bedroom,
How
she
could she?
therefore
If
locked
she's
the
locked
bedroom
in it.
so the kids couldn't get into it.
How could she if she's locked in it? It would
No,
be on.
it's locked from the outside, Sonny.
Wait, are you saying
Lock is on the outside of the door.
Okay, listen. Stop for a second. So, if Malaya and Daniel get up, right, and go to the door, that's where the lock would be, correct?
Hanging on the door casing, yep.
Inside of their bedroom would be the side that the lock.
I don't believe why would anybody put a lock on the inside of the bedroom?
Are you kidding? If I go to my bathroom, if I go to my bedroom, I lock the door if I want to. Why would I have a
But
lock?
in the trailer, in those old trailers, they have they have them on the bathroom too. Usually the bathroom and the master bedroom have the little doorknob, the lock on the doorknob that all you do is push the doorknob in and turn it, and that locks the door.
I don't
There's
know.
no need for, like you're saying, for a lock to be inside the door so that they can lock it and lock the kids out by themselves out in the living room. Other than the fact there's something in there that they don't want them to get into when they're not watching them. As we know, they're not totally intuitive of doing.
Yeah, like is there? I just wonder sometimes if there's anything that I ever say that you don't say.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
Well,
just
don't you think it's pretty absurd that you're literally gonna literally walk up to the door, Jack and Lily, and there's gonna be a lock on it from the outside versus on the inside? Like, I get what you're trying to.
they're not locking it.
Like, when I say
Just for an
lock, I'm
update,
talking about more of a
anybody,
chain.
Toronto just eliminated New York, so hell yeah. But anyways, they're not locking
Well,
it when they're in
you know
the
what?
bedroom.
How about you ask dickhead Daniel there about that lock? Ask him about it. Actually,
Well,
what
I'm
the
just thinking of it like in my experience, like I say, who would want to lock their door? Like, who's to say a fire don't happen or something, and you have that lock on the door and you got to fiddle around in the dark and try to find a key, that doesn't sound sensible.
Well, we don't
You're
know
looking
that
to
it's
kill
a
yourself if that's
padlock.
the case.
Who said it was a padlock, first of all? Who
Well,
said?
he said the lock jiggling up on the door. So that
right.
means to me that it's locked up higher, whether it's a padlock or one of the old slide latches or whatever. But to me, it's up where the kids can't reach it to get into the bedroom and get into stuff when they're not watching them and not in the bedroom.
So
If they're locking it from the inside, I can see you wanting to do something if you're having sex or whatever. That's fine. Whatever.
Well, typically, why else do you typically lock kids out of the room? Typically, it's for that
Well,
reason.
like I say, I can see like I've had family that has done it.
I don't give a shit about family. I'm talking about Jack and Lily's on that one. What makes
Anyway, we have different thoughts, so we're allowed.
I know we're allowed. Just ask Daniel. You know, go ahead. Tell him to take a picture and send it to you about this lock. You know,
I will send him a message and see if he replies. Like I say, I haven't talked to him that he answered, except for saying thank you when I sent him a picture of the bench being installed. So everything else that I've asked him hasn't been replied to, and most of the time hasn't even been looked at.
Well, he sure messages me really fast when he's trying to deflect shit from himself again.
Well,
you know?
he's trying to make up with you. He's offering you a bucket of KFC, remember? So
he ain't trying to make up. He just knows that I don't buy his shit. I don't know what that man has that he keeps wanting to talk to me sometimes or come in this chat and stuff like that. I mean, how many times can I say I don't believe you, dude? No matter what you say to me, I just don't believe you. It's almost like it's like, am I the last person standing? I don't think so. That just doesn't buy his bullshit. No, it's because I don't, right? 2 children are missing, and then all this bullshit is going on. And as for their stories, again, their stories are so inconsistent, right? And the more Daniel speaks, the more he actually just drops himself in the bucket with saying shit against himself, honestly. Like, I don't care. Like I said, take the whole fact of involvement in it. This man, again, I just don't know how somebody can say something and totally forget that they've said the total opposite, you know, especially when it comes to Malaya. And then he had the nerve to say to me yesterday, I don't play games, Sonny.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I thank everybody in the chat that thinks the lock would be on the outside of the door as well as myself, because I know I wouldn't want to lock myself in a bedroom, just especially now being in a wheelchair. I don't even lock my house doors.
Okay. A lot of people are saying that you're crazy too. Are you not reading those ones?
Yes, I do. And I said the ones that agree with me, I thank them. You're supposed to thank the people that says I'm crazy.
He's crazy. He's crazy. No, well, maybe Daniel will be gracious enough to show us this lock, right, Daniel? I mean,
yeah. Well, like I say, everybody tries to think about this case literally, and the way things that you would think that would normally happen. But one thing that I've learned in this is this case, I think, is illogical.
Yeah, because
the stuff that is happening as a parent is illogical. There's no explanation for it, but we know the alternative of the kids up and disappearing didn't happen. They're not magicians.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not exactly. Apparently, they are though. On this one, on there. Now, yeah. Anyway, we love each other.
Well, like I say, we can always agree to disagree. Like, I'm just And like I know a lot of people like talk and say, "Oh well, Kent's trying to defend them." I'm not, people. I'm trying to look at everything logical. And like I say, I put myself in the same situation. I am not locking my bedroom door from the inside. I can't. It's a slider. I'm not. I could lock the bathroom door if I wanted to, because when we redid the house, it comes into the bathroom. Then I got a slider that comes over into my new bedroom. I used to live in the basement, but now with the wheelchair, I'm upstairs in what used to be the spare bedroom. And I'm not locking myself behind a door and having to worry about, even if it's not a padlock, even if it's just one of those sliders, and you have to get up in the middle of the night and get your sense about you and have to worry about getting a lock off or opened to get out. That doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense to me that there's stuff in that bedroom that you don't want your kids to get into, and you know that you don't watch them. So therefore, when you come out of the bedroom, whoever the last one coming out in the morning closes the door and locks it. That the
So,
kids can't reach it.
so do the parents know that? Do they put their hand around the door that's to unlock that to come out if it's locked from that side? Doesn't make sense.
They couldn't lock themselves in.
Maybe Kent, they have a lock on both sides.
Well, if they haven't changed the doorknobs, there's probably one on the doorknob that they could lock it from the inside if they wanted to be private.
Well, I'm going to say this.
But I don't see how that lock would jiggle.
Well, it depends what he means by that, to be honest with you. Because rattle, jiggle, whatever. But I only wish that my mom and stepdad would have done that, because I learned at a very early age. Like I literally was going by the door and it was open about this much. And all I remember, and I'm just going to say this, and it scarred me. Okay. It literally scarred me. Okay. TMI. This is going to be TMI, you guys. But
how do you think you were created?
Well, I knew I was like 7 years old, man. I walk by and I see this big doinker going in and out of my mom. And I'm like, all I hear is my mom making these noises. And it was all because the door was open this much. And I was like, what the fuck? Right? That scarred me for the rest of my life, that vision. I'll never forget it. So I wish that they would have locked that door. Just FYI on that one. Now, in saying that, right? I know it was TMI, but I don't care. It's a vision that I'll always remember, right? Yeah, I'm just saying. I only wish
we knew not to go in our mother and father's bedroom.
Well, maybe they should have damn right closed the door.
Unless they told us to.
Yeah, on there. But now let's see here.
I was a good boy.
I was a good girl. I was just going back to my bedroom, and there was like the little crack, and I went to go like, Mom, and then I was like, oh.
We grew up in a trailer, and it was the same thing. When you're going down the hallway, you had your bathroom, then the first bedroom, kid's bedroom, second kid's bedroom, and the master bedroom was at the end of the trailer. The same layout as layout that we have in the one that Daniel and them are living in.
Okay. Now, Kent, I know it's like late there. You got to get going.
Yeah. I'm excited. Wide open. Blue Jays won. Yankees are gone.
Okay, do me a favor, because I really have to go give the toilet a drink right now. Just talk for a couple more minutes. Go ahead and talk about the Blue Jays for a sec. I don't really care. I'll be right back.
All right, people. I know some of you probably think I'm crazy, but honestly, can you picture the situation that I'm talking about, where parents would lock their bedroom door from the outside because they don't want the kids to get in the bedroom and find stuff? I do agree with Sonny's situation too, that if they were being intimate, then yeah, you might lock the. But I would think that they would, with younger kids, and like I say, I don't know because I don't have kids of my own. But with younger kids, The way that some couples talk about not getting it enough, it seems like that there would be plenty of time when the kids go to bed at 8 o'clock. They're out by 10. Between that and 6 o'clock in the morning when most young kids are up. Like I said, I can see having a doorknob lock. Like, you know how anybody who's lived or grew up in a trailer, you know that there's a hole in the center of the doorknob on the outside, and that's our bathroom was like that, and we used to lock it all the time because when you swing the door open, it used to hit the wall and then it would lock itself. So then if you closed the bathroom door when you were done using it or whatever because of the smell, then you come back the next time and the goddamn door is locked and nobody's in there. So then you have to take a screwdriver or a sewing needle or whatever and go in that little hole in your doorknob and poke it through to open the door. And most of the time in the mobile homes, the older ones, I don't know if they still do it these days or not, because these days I know my sister's new mini home, it actually has the handle doorknobs on it, not just a round doorknob.
I gave you a couple of minutes to fucking do your piece, and you went back to the damn doorknob, started talking about baseball. And the Blues,
There's nothing else to say. Toronto put New York out. They're partying in the dressing room.
damn
What
straight.
am I supposed to say other than that?
I'm always
Goodbye, New York.
see you in New York. Have a good one. But I've always been a Blue Jays. In fact, the only team besides back in the day it was Calgary Flames for the hockey. But
Yeah.
other than that, it was Blue Jays. Absolutely. It's the only
Yeah.
type of shoes that I have is the Blue Jays.
But anyways, it is getting late here, so
Bye-bye. Take
I
your
will
Glock.
let you go. And no, I'm not locking my door.
Oh, don't forget, Jack. Let's just ask Daniel. Daniel,
Yeah, I'll send him a message and see what he says. See if he'll send us a picture.
yeah,
It's always good to find out information, right?
absolutely, right? I mean, truth
We
is,
just wish we had more of truth of it.
yep, absolutely.
So,
Okay, Ken. Well, thank you so much.
night, everyone.
Good night, Ken. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Kent, kick from studio. Kick guest. There you go. Bye-bye. Okay, I want to go back. What time is it? 7:45. We got a little bit of time here. Whatever. It's only 2 hours and 12 minutes. Shit, we're undercutting Charmaine's lives by at least a couple hours at this point. On there, share screen. So let's go to this article from the Globe and the Mail. This is the one that Lindsay was talking about here. And yeah, let's go on. Let's look at the Blue Jays. Good going, Blue Jays. I'll put this bigger up on screen though. So you guys can see it. And let's go through this one because this one has some other things being said in it I can see. Okay, so RCMP insists that the case of the two children who disappeared in rural Nova Scotia more than 5 months ago hasn't gone cold despite police cadaver dogs not finding no evidence of human remains and all possibilities still under consideration. Jack and Lily's mother told police her kids wandered away from the home. Okay, so we've gone... let's see here. Awoke that morning to a quiet home and assumed that the young siblings had put on their boots, opened the sliding back door, and left the fence in the backyard. An extensive search for the children, led by the Northeast Nova Major Crime Unit, involved helicopters, drones, dogs, and all that stuff. We know that, blah, 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 and went from along the pipeline and intersecting trails behind the property and in the area where Lily's pink blanket was previously found. But police say this doesn't definitely rule out the presence of human remains in the areas, which we know. Come on. Obviously, right, they can only do so much in 3 days, apparently, eh? But there were some obviously main spots that they wanted to tackle. It means either the odor is there and couldn't be detected, or the odor isn't there. Staff Sergeant Stephen Pike of Police Dog Services said of the training center in the public statement. I read that wrong, but whatever, close enough. Sergeant Staff Rob McCammon, the acting officer in charge of the major and behavioral sciences. It said investigators have still not determined with certainty the circumstances of the children's disappearance, but continue to follow the evidence and are using specialty units and technology to pursue all avenues to find Lily 6 and Jack 4. Jack's going to be Jack's going to be 5 in like, 19, 20, 21 days, 21 days. And that hence right near Halloween there. This case will not go cold, he said during an interview. This is a case that will continuously grind through the information. And once we're done and we've collected all the information, if we aren't at a place where we need to be, we will go back and do it again. Let's see what happens after this now. Like, let's see. I wonder if we're going to hear about more interviews going back to the beginnings, in a sense, seeing who else, maybe about a polygraph. Crap. 1 sec. My husband needs to come in. 1 sec. Give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back. Just my husband has coming in the room. Wanted to ask me a couple things. Just give me 1 more sec. You done? Okay. All right. Back on track. Okay. Let's see. In a recent podcast interview, Mr. Martell said he believes that the children are alive. He said he thinks someone has taken them and he suspects that the person is known to the children's mother, Miss Brooks Murray. Information, he says, he passed on to police. Because I was with Malaya for 3 years, I think I may know the person that has the kids, he said during a video interview on the Drunk Turkey show last week. Mr. Brooks Murray ended her relationship with Mr. Martell the day after the children disappeared, 2 weeks before their disappearance. Miss Brooks Murray was planning to break up with him, but then changed her mind, he said in the interview. Well, you held her down again and she fell for your crop. When asked about Mr. Martell's tips, Staff Sergeant McCammon said he couldn't speak to specifics, but that Lily and Jack's family is cooperating. He reiterated that there's no evidence of an abduction by a stranger or a known individual. Exactly, Daniel. He also restated that the likelihood of Jack and Lily being alive is low. Exactly, Daniel. The facts and evidence that we gathered have not indicated anything to take us past a missing persons investigation at this point, but it definitely does raise concerns as we're trying to gather as much information as thoroughly as we can to address those concerns and be able to answer questions about what happened to Jack and Lily, he said. Prior to the disappearance, Jack and Lily have been reported absent from school for 2 days. In the months prior, the children had been assessed by a child welfare social worker at the home because of the concerns raised by the school. Referrals to the child welfare are made when there is suspected case of neglect or abuse. In August, the Globe and Mail published a story with a December 2024 photo of Jack at the school with a black eye. Mr. Martell said in the podcast interview that the child protection visit was unrelated to the injury, but to provide instruction of support for the children's behavior. He said Jack refused to comply at school and acted aggressively, while Lily tried to pull out her hair in frustration. The black eyes, right. So what does that tell you, by the way? Jack refused to comply at school and acted aggressively, while Lily tried to pull out her hair in frustration. That's what Daniel said. The black eyes was definitely not from me, he said. Most of the black eyes were probably from Lily. Because I don't want to say 100% because Jack was really clumsy too. So it just, what this sounds like? It sounds like just a lot of Jack and Lily blaming here is really what it sounds like for everything, right? that's really how all this wording comes across, to be honest, as I'm reading it. When we used to take him in the woods, he would fall a lot. Right. So they didn't make it into the woods, really, did they? Because they couldn't get very far in 20 minutes, could they? But you guys never talk about the 8 o'clock to 8:30 time, do you? Remember, though, Malaya, when Daniel was asleep from 6:18 to 9:40? But yet none of that at all talks about the 8 o'clock to 8:30 time that you guys gave the RCMP when they said when was the last time that Jack and Lily were seen or heard. Remember that? So why does that never get talked about ever? You never hear them talking about that. It's right in the documents because they didn't redact that in the one part of it. They redacted it in the other parts, but they forgot to redact it when they said between the whatever, I think it was like 8 to 10 time frame, because obviously when the call went in at 10:01, right? So anyway, so again, just more BS. Mr. Martell also told the podcaster that suggestions that he was doing drugs and had a meth lab on the property are untrue. I'll stay in the spotlight as long as it takes, because as long as I'm the target, all right, here we go. Because as long as I'm the target, individuals or groups or whoever has the kids, they're going to feel more relaxed, and that gives investigators a chance to strike. He's just, he's just such a great logical thinker, right? I think he feels like he actually does the thinking for the police here, to be honest. Neither Miss Brooks Murray nor Martell responded to a request for comment. Staff Sergeant McCammon said forensic testing continues. Major crime investigators have reviewed more than, of course, the 8,000 video files, 860 tips, and he appealed to the public to come forward with information about the case. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was that article there. And who's ever last watching? Okay, whoops, I'm here. I'm present and accounted for. All right, and again, I think that, you know what? When we look at, again, this whole case, right? Again, Daniel, who's lying? Who's always lying, Daniel? Right? Who's always lying? But yet the same person that is, like I said, lying, then he contradicts his own lies with other lies. And it just is, it's such a absolute crock of shit to watch, to be honest with you. For me, I think it's very telling that the dog handler, and I believe that the dog handler absolutely said those things to Daniel Martell. Why? I think that they're frustrated. I think that I think that Daniel's just a dumbass by giving us, like, he doesn't know when to shut up, Daniel. And then even when he says maybe I should start shutting up, I'm like, I literally said yesterday, but we all know that's not going to happen, because he doesn't. But people that are like narcissists, and they're really, like I said, they're just liars by nature in a sense, right? They literally just don't know how to stop. Because why? It's because when their egos are under attack, right? They always have to justify it. It's just like them always having to have that last word all the time. And he's so transparent by this. But the thing is, like I said, you just have to keep looking at all his stuff that he's been saying about the dog handler, about the blanket that being told it's being planted. Again, to me, in my personal opinion, is that they absolutely know that Jack and Lily, sadly, are deceased. Now, again, I believe that they do have certain information, but I believe that they don't have the answers to what happened, like exactly to Jack and Lily, or where that they are. Let's put it that way. I think it's more of that they're really just trying to find the human remains of Jack and Lily, and Daniel, he can go on to a drunk turkey show all he wants and try to keep boasting how innocent and stuff he is, right? And for all we know, I mean, he may be, in our opinion, right. In my opinion, I don't see that at all. If you have to keep lying and deceiving people, and you have to keep trying to deflect to Jack, to Lily, to Malaya, everybody but yourself all the time, what is it you're truly doing? Thanks, Shannon. Want to thank you. Thank you, Shannon, for all the. But I'll let it read.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny, for all of your work. And giving Jack and Lily a voice is greatly appreciated. Folded hands emoji. Right heart emoji.
Thank you, Shannon. I know that you're a big supporter. I've seen you in, of course, Clutch Them Pearls and, other channels as you go to trying to find the answers and stuff like that, for Jack and Lily. So thank you so much. And Melissa, go lay down. You take care of yourself, girly, on there. But, I mean, Daniel. As I was saying, I just honestly, I know that whatever they're talking about on the Drunk Turkey Show is just more bullshit to my ears. And I just don't give a fuck, is what I'm going to say about that. Okay. He's proved himself to be a liar. He's proved himself to be, in my opinion, narcissistic, controlling, manipulative, and stuff like that. And I just don't have the time a day to kiss somebody's ass like that. I don't. I just can't find it in me. You try to be understanding and you try to look at it in all ways, shapes, and forms and stuff like that with this case. But when it comes to just watching bullshit and stuff like that, I can't be nice to you. I can't be, sitting there going, you know what? Maybe I got it all wrong, Daniel. You know what? I'll wait for the RCMP or somebody at some point when Jack and Lily have answers. I'll come back and look at what I've said then. Okay. But regardless of Jack and Lily, like I said, dude, you are such an embarrassment to me. You should be to yourself. But the thing is, I know you're not embarrassed to yourself. You are relentless. And again, you are what I would call just someone that equates to what I would deem as a full-blown narcissistic personality. Someone that literally believes their own lust. Absolutely. Right? Malaya was asked different questions than Daniel was. Again, all you have to do is go back to the documents. I would love to see more rounds of a test being done, to be honest with you. Myself. I know, and you know what? Hey, if there's other people that they want to include in that, I'm curious to where, like, I'm curious to what they're going to be working on exactly next, like what they're going to be planning to do. Or what do you guys think, by the way? What do you guys think about that? One sec. Just why is my messengers all of a sudden going off like crazy? But yeah, it's like, what do you guys think about all that? What they're going to be doing next? Just one second. Oh, it's just looking at something on my messenger, if you don't mind. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to look over here for a second. Okay. No, I'm good. I chose to call it Clutch Her Pearls. I think that they're waiting for people to think that they got away with their crimes while they're still trying to find out what they can, Wolf. That's just like the tip of the iceberg. I'm telling you. Oh, which reminds me, I need to do a members live. Let's see here. I might give you some dish on the members live. Certain things. Okay. I always got to keep my promises and stuff like that. What day do I want to do it? When will I do a members live? Maybe I'll do one tomorrow night. Yeah, unless something, like ultra happens. I think tomorrow night I'll do a members live, or tomorrow at some point during the day, perhaps. I'm not really sure. I'll just YOLO that and decide, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's time to do our members live. It's been a bit, I'm not gonna lie though, I've just been really exhausted this week. I've just had crappy sleep and stuff like that, going on. Oh, Explore Core. That's so sweet. Listen. Oh, look at you guys go. Hold on. Thank you. Let's just see who got those. I gotta let my thing catch up. Come on. Let's go. Choppity chop. Choppity. It's okay. You guys know I desert you any day, especially for dessert. I would desert you. I'm waiting for it to catch up on YouTube Studio so I can see who was gifted those. Are we caught up? Wait, hold on. So Justin did that one. I'll come back to you, Justin. Okay, so butterflies are free to fly. Teresa, PI received one. Crystal Lee. And Jessica Gregory. Okay. So those all people, thank you so much to Explore Core. Make sure you thank them for that, the membership. That's really sweet of you because, like I said, for doing a membership live tomorrow and you just got one, then that's perfect. Thank you for doing that. For that. And Justin, for all, you cracked me up the other day. I swear to God, Daniel. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, I am curious if they did check his his father's property down near, what's it called? Down near, why do I forget it all? Barney's, that Barney's River thing down over there. I am curious if they checked, not that Earl has anything to do with it, just the property. I'm curious. Yeah, I can. You know what? Now, April D, I thought you said something like, I have my old card on here and that's why I can't get it on there. Sorry for that. It's not like memberships are specific and stuff like that, to do that. Now, have I given out any this month? Did I do any of those? Because I give out 5. I got bills to pay. I think that one's for Justin's coming out.
Justin for all super chat.
Yeah.
$5. You're awesome.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You cracked me up the other day. I swear to God, Danielle. Smiley face emoji.
It's like if this wasn't the fact of 2 missing children, I mean, shit, dude. Like honestly, I'd probably be laughing my ass off on Daniel. How this fricker acts. It's so ridiculous. I would probably take a shit and a piss on him each and every day if it wasn't for the fact that, well, I'm close. I don't do it every day, but but it's for the fact that we're talking about 2 missing children, right? That's what makes it ridiculous on there. Okay, so let me just see if I can go to my own channel for a second. Well, I can. Let me just see here. Yeah. RCMP didn't drop no major bombshell during the search, Okay, view my channel. Click on my live. Mute my shit self there. Let's see here. Membership gifting. I got 10, so I'll do 5 now. Let's see who gets those. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see if April can get one. Mona Lee, American DM, Carol loves embroidery. Nope. Michelle Abbott and Anna Murray. Okay. So those people all got one. So again, sorry, that's why I couldn't get my membership. Anyway, so again, I'll do a members live tomorrow. Yeah. That's when we can kind of just let loose, That's my things going off. You know what? We've had some heavy stuff. Don't mind a little bit of Rick rolling going off right now. But just to be grateful, Shannon did a $10 super chat, and Explore Core gifted 5 memberships out there, which was really awesome. That 5 people can, again, that didn't have one, can come see the members live. And if you miss it, you can still watch it because you're a member. You guys know I desert you, especially for dessert. Justin Farrell, thank you so much again for your super chat. And then It's a Crime and Shame. You're so awesome. It's a Crime and Shame. Thank you, YouTube, for giving us 10 gifted memberships to give out each month. But I'm not doing all 10 of them. I like to break them up, right? We're only at the beginning of the month. Today's the 8th, so I did the 5 for that. And as for what was I going to say? I was going to say something. I was going to be deep and thoughtful. Not really, actually. What was I just going to say? Oh, the link is up in the description of this video if you wish to become a member. It's $1.99. Are you out of your mind on this? But when people gift memberships, they actually get their rabbit hole. Janzi. Janzi, thank you. Let's see who got one of those. Let's see, Janzi. Okay, hold on. Janzi. So we got Christy, Paige, Susan, and House Music. 1, 2. Did I say Paige? Yeah. Angela. On there. April. Just saying. Maybe if your name was October, you would have gotten one of those memberships, but it's not. Instead, it's April. But April, yeah. Well, there's still 277 people watching there, April. So your odds are a little bit on the low side there. But that's been like 15 times now, right, guys? Janzi, Explore Core, It's a Crime and Shame on this one. But hey, you know what? Yeah. What time should I do it? I'll probably be I'll probably do it. When do I want to do it? You know what? I'm not gonna just wait for it. Okay. It's just that I'm trying to decide, do I sleep in tomorrow? Because I can, right? But I'll still do it earlier afternoon or something like that. Right now we're rickrolling. Hey, let me ask you. I know. You know what? I need a lion. I do. What I need to do is I need to stay up a lot of the night and go over different things and look through stuff or that I haven't had time to today. Mind you, at work today, blah, blah, blah. So normally I typically don't work in the office on Wednesday, but because there was like one of the higher ups, because there was one of the higher ups coming in from the other office. Anyways, they fed us all Mexican food today. We got a big Mexican fiesta lunch on there. So that was really sweet. But anyways, but typically I don't usually go into the office. But all I'm going to say is my sleep has been shitty. And so, yeah. Got a doctor's appointment at 9? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. Honestly. But because, most times, but most times people there's always pizza or these type of things. Never usually do you have like Mexican food. And I was like, hola, absolutely. It was really good. And actually what kind of shocked me a little bit. So I like Canadianized tacos. I'm changing my name. Hi, Darlene. Thanks. You should change your name to October. Yeah, Oktoberfest or something like that. But anyways, so when I like tacos, yeah, who doesn't like tacos? And if you don't like tacos, should you even be watching this at this point right now, to be honest with you? But anyways, so I like ground beef, right? I just like my basic taco with, ground beef, cheese. That's right, American. We see in October in here, we know exactly who you are. But yeah, but usually when you get more of the what you call authentic Mexican food, it's usually like shredded beef, right? Like shredded chicken, shredded beef. So when I saw that there was this big scooper dish of ground beef, I was like, this is going to be good because I love ground beef. Like for my tacos, I'm just a Canadianized person that way. I want my Chinese food to be Canadianized. I want my food just to more be on the Canadian side of cooking and stuff like that. I'm not really this big experimenter. But anyways, yeah. So I was happy when I saw ground beef. I was like, ground beef. And then this one lady goes, she's like, what's this white stuff right here? And the other lady says, it's sour cream. And she's like, well, I don't got my glasses on, so I'm not really sure what it was, right? And she's like, we're having Mexican food and it's tacos. Well, like, what do you think it's going to be? I don't know. Ice cream? Anyways, whipped cream? I don't know. But anyways, I don't know about you guys on this one either, but I love like sour cream. But anyways, ground beef, sour cream, cheese, and lettuce and tomatoes. Yeah, my husband can't stand raw tomatoes. Sucks to be you, husband. But anyways, so I told him, and he's like, have you had your lunch yet? And then he sends me his picture of what he's having for lunch and basically tells me to go suck it as I'm sitting there. So, and of course, I had to send him. Not only did I take one trip, and then about an hour later, I went back for round 2. Just saying. And their tortilla chips, were really good. They had like one of those con carne sauces or whatever you call it. That was, anyways, let's get off food. Okay. My husband got me talking about food because when he came in the room earlier, he's like, that's it. I'm going to Nando's. Yes, ma'am. Who got that one? Patty Pardon did. Patty Pardon got that. It wasn't April. Just wanting you guys to know it was not April. It was Patty. Good try though. If you were purposely trying to hopefully be that lucky person to do one and think that April D was going to get it there. Very kind. Anyways, you guys, thanks for your generosity on that. Now, let's see here. I know. No. Okay, Explore Core. Thanks for the memberships, but guacamole? No. No guac. That I literally had that conversation today when George was talking about the guacamole. I'm like, yeah, no. I made it when I used to work at Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant when I was like 16 years old. Guacamole. Tried it then, can't stand the shit. Tried it later. The only time I like guacamole is when it's in one of those 7-layer dips, right? Now, root strength. Okay. I feel like you guys are having like a little contest. Can we get April? That Cheryl Mayberry. You're the lucky winner of that membership by Root Strength. Cheryl, April, just to clarify, it wasn't you that got that one either. Okay, just saying. Right, anyways, yeah, guacamole. Yeah. RC. Yeah. April's like, why am I not seeing my name up there yet? Poor thing. It's like putting salt on the wound. Anyways, thank you guys for that. But no, so guacamole, ixnay on that shit. No, thank you. But I get it. I get it that a lot of people, I would say that half the people like guacamole and the other half don't. But yeah, 7 layers, absolutely cha-ching. Now, I know we're on food, and now you guys are just making me all hungry and shit like that. But husband's going over to Nando's, and he's just like, what do you want? My husband orders out so much, you guys. It's not even funny. Like, seriously. Our freezer never empties because every time he's sitting there like, well, there's nothing out. Got to order something in. Yeah. Like, I said to him, like you, if I added up the amounts of money that you spend on takeout food because your ass is too lazy to literally go into the cupboards and make something, between him and his brother, I have never seen my husband, since his brother has lived with us, the amount of money that those two, just imagine though, not only do they stop at Timmy's in the morning to go for coffee and some sort of probably, bagel or something like that. Then at lunchtime, they go and have lunch, right? There's another at least $15. So let's say $20 at this point, right? And then the takeout, like, can you imagine, like, pretty much 40 to $60 each day? Chi-Chi's, you remember that? Chi-Chi's is Chi-Chi's. Do you guys remember Chi-Chi's though? Do any of you guys know of Chi-Chi's? If you're in Canada, maybe some of you do. No, Chi-Chi's American restaurant, It was a good, I did the cold prep there. Like I said, I was like 16 years old. So I did all the cold prep, making the enchiladas there, taquitos and shit like that. Now, Catastrophe just gifted somebody. Oh, guess what? CB Canada got that. Well, it's not working for you. Maybe you shouldn't be thanking them. Maybe you should be like, just like, fuck off. I want a goddamn membership. Oops, sorry, watch my mouth. Some people don't like it. I don't try to use that name in vain or nothing like that. Because when I think of God, I'm like GAWD. Okay, just saying. So let's take that one back. Retract that. Then you're just like, F off. Give me a right? Maybe that will work for you. Okay, maybe that might work for you, April. Because obviously being kind and nice isn't working for you. It's not doing you any favors out here. On there, it's good. Years ago in South Carolina. Num num num. Awesome. So I did want to ask you guys though, has like this ground search thing for Jack and Lily, has it changed your opinions about how you feel about the case with regards to what happened to Jack and Lily? In a sense, like, I don't even know exactly what to say there, because it's kind of like it didn't make a difference to me how I still feel about about what happened to Jack and Lily. I think it was disappointing. I think there was a lot of things that have been disappointing for Jack and Lily, but my path is no different than what I see. And I still, in my opinion, okay, I still believe that this goes right back to the property and family involvement. You know, that's how it's not that I'm not still trying to look at different avenues, but when you weigh the likelihood of this in the woods and the fact that they do not believe the children are hiding somewhere, okay? Like, seriously, they do not believe that. If they even felt for a second like that, again, they felt like Haley planted the blanket, they would have brought her ass in for a polygraph test. They believed anything about that at all, they would not waste money on dogs, okay? So that's just 2 plus 2. And I don't think Daniel understands that. 2 plus 2, Daniel. 2 plus 2 on this one, okay? So husband's back. 1 second. Hello. Okay, husband came back already. You guys, I swear to God, we were only just talking for a few minutes on there. And already he's back with my corn on the cob, chicken skewers, French fries. Okay, get jealous. Get jealous, April. That's what you get. Anyways, let's see. I'll just quickly look at this and then I will get going because I will do a membership live tomorrow. And again, it will probably, when I say early afternoon, I'm talking my time. So I'm kind of thinking about like the 1 or 2 area. I need to reach out to Bev and see if, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Right. Okay. I need to reach out to Bev. She's been really, really busy. That's the Crime Room Confidential with the lawyer, right? Well, remember, she changed jobs in a sense. She was a child protection lawyer. She's been a defense lawyer. Now she's working for the prosecution, the Crown prosecution or whatever. And so I know she's been really caught up with that because obviously starting a new job and that. So I'll just see if she is available for Friday to join me. And if not, then that's okay because I know she's extremely busy. Let's see. I just want to see here. My beliefs haven't changed. I think that the RCMP know more than what we do. Well, that's still a given. And again, Daniel's mouth, I believe Daniel with certain things, okay? When things that he's saying. And because he's such like a tool in the shed there that this things you guys, I don't know how to keep saying this. I've never seen someone so stupid as that man. Like, I've seen stupid people, but in a case where 2 children are missing and the shit that man says and then contradicts himself and then gives us information because he doesn't know how to stop. He doesn't know how to stop the BS. Like, he doesn't know how to stop from being attacked and then always coming back out. Like, he literally thinks, I think when he told that information about the dog handler, that was actually to his benefit. No, when you told us about the pink blanket being planted, I agree. Did it do anything to your benefit? No. Because you're stupid enough to think that people actually believe you that Haley planted the blanket. And it's so ridiculous because, again, they would have pulled Haley in for a polygraph. Just like, why didn't I say that before Haley said that? I mean, I've been talking about the pink blanket and how ridiculous it is about Haley being blamed and stuff like that. It just was ridiculous. And it was ridiculous because, again, why would she send me a picture of the blanket? And when she literally was like, you know what, let me just send you a picture of the blanket that I planted. It doesn't, no, okay? The only person that's stupid enough to actually believe that stuff is Daniel, right? I swear to God that Daniel gets off when I talk down about him. It's almost like it just drives him even more crazy to be like, Sonny. Oh, Sonny, no matter what you say, Sonny, I'm still gonna keep trying to, get you to come to my side. This ain't gonna happen, not in this lifetime, okay? The only time it might come in this, no, it's not gonna come in this lifetime, Daniel. Not at all, to be honest with you. April T. It doesn't change my mind for what happened on the property. The one on the trailer needs to speak up on the truth if they know how. Well, it's really pathetic, and sad watching Belinda come in here to sit there and say, you know what, Malaya, speak up for your children, be voices for Jack and Lily. It's kind of really sad to watch stuff like that because as a mother, again, most people are associating this as if you were in this situation and that you're a mother or father and has children, and what your actions would be. And then when we watch this whole debacle going on of crap, it's just, so I don't believe that Malaya is working with the police at all. I think that by this point, if Malaya was actually working with the police, there would have been something, right? Whether it's cars going into, there would have been something, because I can't see that she would be absolutely clueless to all this stuff. No, I'm just not buying it. Right. I think that Wade, during his talk, even though some of that information you could tell was not accurate, some of it, I think that a lot of it was accurate about the feelings that are going on there. And, I think Kent was a bit wrong on that one, to be honest with you, because I think that on both sides, absolutely, of each family, that there's family members from the Martell Mackenzie side. They're like going, you know what? I know that you guys are fucking lying or something like that. But, to sit there and legitly maybe throw immediate family underneath the bus, and you would have to be in the shoes and decide what your own morals are, your moral compass when it comes to maybe outing information and stuff like that. Because I mean, that would be a heavy weight to have if you literally had information about Jack and Lily, but that would mean that you would literally perhaps get the whole family would be fucking coming at you. Like it would be a lot on somebody that was actually within the family that has knowledge to literally out their own family member and stuff like that, if they have knowledge, that is. Sonny, does he little husband delivers? Absolutely. To the KFC bucket. One of these days, Daniel, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, and I'll buy you a bucket of KFC, okay? Prove me wrong. Anyways, school confidential. Haha, that's what I heard in my head on there. Okay, let's see here. Girl, I'm eating peanut butter with a spoon. Okay, I do like my peanut butter. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna say this. I still love my P&J sandwiches. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah, they're still, no matter how old I get. I don't care if I was given it a lot because that's what my mom did, but I still love my P&J sandwiches. Absolutely. Kent and Sunny are comical. Yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, at least it's not boring. When sometimes we disagree with each other, or Charmaine disagrees and stuff like that, At least don't forget, if you guys haven't subbed, Charmaine's over 1,000 subs. Thank you guys for everyone that has subbed to Charmaine and watching her videos and all that stuff, as she grows her channel and stuff like that. But don't let her convince you for one fucking second that woman cannot talk herself, okay? She has logged some decent ass freaking lives of 4 hours. I think on the low side, it was 2 hours and 21 minutes. I just remember Charmaine going, like some people just, have a knack for talking and, not to put Sunny down type of thing, but, Sunny can, talk, type of thing. And that's just not kind of shut the fucking front door now, Charmaine. I got proof. Okay. I got proof now that Charmaine cannot barely do a live. Well, at least I haven't seen one yet. That's what, under 2 hours long? And that's on a short note. So that actually makes me laugh so hard when somebody sits there and says that shit and then it comes back and it's like, Charmaine, it's 3 hour, 4 hour live and you're just getting started? Yeah, good fight. No, but I really love the fact that she has brought up her channel, another voice for Jack and Lily, another channel to troll. I don't know. Anyway, what kind of jam? Strawberry. Has to be, well, I can have any jam. Well, no, like it has to be like strawberry, blackberry, blueberry, but ooh, I had blueberry the other day. Me and my husband, we went to, Denny's, actually. As it was Denny's. And then, no, but that's not when I had blueberry. No. I had blueberry at Ricky's, right? And, I haven't had blueberry jam in a long time. I said to my husband, like, this would be so good on cream cheese right now, to be honest with you. Because my husband's like, see these packages of blueberries? He go, I got about 10 of them in my vehicle. And I was like, well, why don't you just take a few more to add to your collection there? But anyways, but strawberry, just like cheesecake, right? My husband, when we left Denny's the other day, he's like, I don't care. Oh, can I just tell you about food for 1 second again, to be honest with you? Sorry to get off the kick there. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, you guys. We do appreciate the love and support, me, Kent, and Charmaine all, whether you agree with us or disagree with us, but thank you guys for sticking around and, for Jack and Lily, right? The case and stuff like that. It means a lot that people still keep hanging in there because it has been 5 months. But okay, back to food for a second. So usually so we went to Denny's, whatever it was, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. And no, I didn't know what I was going to get. I felt like I was going to get breakfast, but I opted not to. I was in like this October mood and I was like, I think I'm going to have the oven roasted turkey, right? Mashed potatoes, right? Because I love that stuff. So anyways, so I opt for that. I was going to get something else. I was going to get this chicken grill thing, but I opted for this oven roasted turkey shit. Okay? What fucking person, just saying, at what point do you know how you cook ham in a frying pan and then it gets like the little black marks on it, right? Cooking it. Okay, that's the shitting thing that they did with this turkey, right? Instead of it being succulent and juicy, they freaking flipped it like it was on a frying pan, which gave it these brown marks, which gave it like this crunchier taste to it. And this mashed potato, okay, like freaking here's a scoopful. And so I'm like, I'm so disappointed, right, in this. And then when the lady came over at first, she's like, so how was everything? And then I gave this weirdly weird look because then my husband's like, what was that look for? And I was like, because it's not good. And then, so anyways, so then this other lady come over, I think she was maybe the supervisor, and she's just like, so how's everything going? And I'm just like, you know what? Honestly, I said, I don't know what the heck this person did with the turkey, but it is so bad. It doesn't, I mean, I did eat it because if I was going to pay for it, I'm fucking going to eat the turkey no matter how bad it tasted. Anyways, it was just disgusting. So I don't usually complain hardly ever about food when I go out. I'd have a couple times if it's like really bad, because we're not talking about like $5. We're talking about like $20 meals, right? And when you're looking forward to something, anyways. So my husband had these beautiful fries on his plate, and they're just so fluffy, and they're like crinkle fries, but the long way on there. So I just said, honestly, this is disgusting. I don't know what the person thought when they were creating this freaking turkey and putting it in a frying pan or whatever they did. I said, it is just not good. It was everything that what turkey should not taste like. So I just said, so she's like, well, can I replace it with something for you? Because I didn't even ask for the money. I just said, you know what, just please, I'll just take a basket of French fries, right, at this crinkle, because they're so good. They were so good and on there. So I ended up getting that dinner for free. But my husband was like, I'm not leaving here without cheesecake. And I was like, well, good, because I ain't leaving out here without cheesecake either. And because so going back to the whole strawberry thing, if I'm going to have cheesecake, my favorite kind, the ultimate, is going to be the strawberries on top with the freaking juice. You know, because it's the juice that makes the cheesecake go. None of these freaking cherries on top and some sort of syrup and crap like that. You know, I want strawberry with the juice jizzing down for it. So that's what it was, and that was so good. So good. But anyway, so that was my story. I don't usually ever complain about food. It's hardly ever. You know, like I might bitch about it at home when my husband brings it back, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? The last one he brought me was beautiful. This one that they made is like freaking fish and chips, like this small, when last time they were like freaking this big and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm just saying, I was craving turkey. And then my husband, on like for Thanksgiving now, he's like, do you guys in Canada have those chickens without legs on them, and they're just like the breast part of it and stuff like that? And I'm like, no. And the chickens here all have the legs on them attached still, you know, like meaning for the turkeys, right? And then I'm like, well, you know, why? Like, do you want turkey, or are we gonna have turkey? And he's like, well, I want to, but I don't feel like spending 5 hours waiting for the damn thing. And I'm like, well, why don't we have one of those butterball ones? And he's like, yeah, fuck that, he said. And I'm like, well, why don't we just have ham? He's like, no, I want turkey. He's like, well, maybe we'll just go out for Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm like, I'm in. Like, seriously, dude. My husband wants to keep spending money, and I'm in. Yeah, because he's the one paying for it. On there. So I'm not sure what you guys are all doing for Thanksgiving, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to make my way out to a restaurant on this. Overall turkey. I do like turkey things, but can I just say this? And this is just a side note. Who's going to admit to this? Because turkeys give me turkey farts. I'm just going to say turkey. I absolutely get turkey farts from turkey. It's like a freaking gas machine. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys get the same shit going on there. I just know with turkey, it's like Chinese food, you know. Turkey on the barbecue is the only way. Turkey on the barbecue. Huh. Can't say I've had that. Can't say I've really had turkey on the barbecue. Yeah, no. Turkey for the family. Yeah. Because I don't really have turkey too often, you know? So we got Thanksgiving, like Christmas. We'll do a turkey for Christmas. Because I got a week off. I took 2 weeks in summer, so I got like a week off at Christmas time because the way that the days roll, it gave me like a week off with only using 3 days. So I was like, sweet. We smoked the turkey. Okay. You got a big smoker outside there, Rhonda? Aussies, I knew, did deep fried turkey. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still like, what, a few days away? Because some people, like most people celebrate Thanksgiving on the Sunday versus the Monday, right? Because, because Monday's the holiday. Sunny, get to my What's your message? Shit, I ignore you, Tinker. What the hell did you say? I see this. What message? Get to my message. Well, your message must have been before this one. Besides that one. Tinker, 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 tinker. Tinker, tinker, you little stinker. Hi, Sunny. Ha, Sunny, not honey. That one? That one? Don't make my brain hurt, Tinker. Bread makes me poop. Joe, thanks you. Thank you, God. Thank you for sharing. Do tell. Yeah. Slurpees. I'll just say that. Slurpees. Definitely bathroom time. It's this age thing. It's growing older. Never used to happen, people, okay? Just getting older. She sent you a short video. Is that what she said? Night, Sarah. Sarah doesn't want to stay around for the turkey farts. Bye, Sarah. Did you send me a video? I guess you want me to go check my email or something. Video. I got quite a few emails here. I guess I should probably look at. Wait. Is that no, that's not even the right one. Crime shame. That was my other one. Oh. Micmac sent me. Oh, that's that one. CBC. And when did she send that? 6 minutes ago? Which one is that? Oh, that's one we already showed. We already showed that one, Micmac. What else we got here? What did you send me, Carla? Is that saying? Okay, so the pond says, at Daphne, I was messaging with Cheryl today, and she told me that the blanket part that was in the tree was not in the garbage with the other half of the blanket. It was on the railing. Well, I mean, that would make sense, though, wouldn't it? Because why would it have been in the same garbage bag as the big piece if that piece was taken down way before? Did you send me? I don't have your climbing shame email. Tinker, you're not being a patty, are you? I feel like I don't have your climbing shame email. Or I don't have my climbing shame email either. I got my climbing shame email on there. So wait, why did somebody say you sent a video? I don't know. Let me look at some other emails here. Whoops, that's a different email. Just taking a look here. Fourth Wall, Henry sent me something. Norfolk County. Oh, that's a different thing. I'll take a look at that later. Patriot Girl. There was, I think those are the ones from Hidden in the Fog. Yeah, I think those are those ones. Important. Martell, insight about Malaya, shares insights. Okay, that's to do with Hidden in the Fog and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of people were sending me that stuff about Hidden in the Fog and stuff like that. And it's nothing against, say, Hidden in the Fog. You know, I did watch the video. But it was hard just to keep watching Daniel's bullshit. Like, I literally fast forwarded it because I just couldn't sit there for 10 minutes. Like, I know she was kind of showing them, but I mean, for me, it's like, dude, what other stupid shit are you going to keep saying? Like, how many times can I do comparatives with your bullshit to what you said before? At what point just does it get old, you know? Yeah, you know, whatever. You guys, my dinner, she sent it through Facebook. Let me look at my Facebook. Okay. Let's see this. Wait a second. I think someone thought, you know, I was trying to understand where I saw that name, your name on Messenger, Tinker. And that's because I saw someone say that you were Durwood's, like one of Durwood's aliases. I was like, where did I see that name before? Yeah, not that it was Tinkerbell, but underneath your Messenger name. Yeah, on there. And I was like, where did I see that name before? So let's just take a look here. Is there any sound to this? Let me just see if there's sound, because if there's music, I probably... Yeah, I'm gonna not play sound to this, because typically when people that aren't creators and they put sound to stuff, it's gonna get usually a copyright to it, and I just don't feel like the hassle of editing it, waiting hours for it. So I'll just leave off the music part of it, okay? On Tinkerbell. Yes, nobody wants to listen to you. We know that Sunny does a really bad job at listening to you. Let's see here. Messenger. All right. I'll play this little clippy. And let's see if we'll just make it bigger so you guys can see this. Did you put this together, Tinkerbell? Yes, I know. That was like months ago. I got the memory span of a freaking like fish, to be honest with you, when it comes to certain things. Certain things. I couldn't tell you what we even talked about in that conversation, to be honest with you. Yeah. That's, like I said, certain things, they'll stick in my head, depends what it is. Okay? No offense, though, because it's not you, it's my brain. Okay. Why am I hitting the play? Okay. Little Lily and Jackie. Okay. Wait, can I ask you though, Tinker? Yeah. Tinker, like, well, that's a cute little mug on there. Oh, there's some pictures here that I need to grab. Where did some of these pictures, right? Like, there's a lot of pictures out there I keep seeing, and I'm like, where's everybody grabbing these pictures from? Some of them are really good that I haven't seen. Yeah, well, I saw somebody say that the other day. They said your name, that D name, and then they said it was an alias. Yeah. And I'm like, because I was like, where did I see that name before? Where did I see that name? But now that you just messaged me, I know that obviously you're not Durwood. But I mean, it was just because I didn't recognize the name, because we've only spoken, like maybe the one time really through Messenger. but Jack and Lily, you know. But yeah, but some of these pictures that I keep seeing and stuff like that, you know, of the older Jack and Lily, right? Oh, that's my opinion myself too. Yeah, that's kind of like me to catastrophe. Like, look at that, eh? Just gonna let it spiral around for a second again. And then I'm gonna go eat my cold Nando's. Mm. That's funny. Yeah. That's a nice little mug there that somebody made as well. Wait, what Explore Core? Yeah, he is American. Good night, Autumn Chicken. I don't know. I was gonna say Autumn Chicken, Autumn Christian. It's Tinkerbell's fault for the bucket of KFC that was like right there. Hmm. Yeah. Let me come back on quickly. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Tinkerbell. The video. Um, again, um, I need some of these pictures. I want because I've been trying to get some of the big. I don't know where everyone's grabbing all these pictures from lately of Jack and Lily, like these older ones. You know, maybe it's because I haven't been searching around people's Facebooks. Okay, right. I was asking. Yes, ma'am. I was American. I was asking Cindy if her husband needed another wife. Food always sounds great. He serves and I can clean. Well, you know, well, I think my husband just loves me for my boobs, to be honest with you. Because if it was cleaning skills, no. I mean, no. Okay. Just no. Cooking skills, I can cook if I want to, but just no. Kind of been through all that phase. No, I appreciate my husband's ability to like pull out his credit card and be like, you know, I'm gonna go get something to eat. Do you want something? And I'm just like, I'm gonna say no. No. Even if I'm not hungry, I'm still gonna say yeah. Just saying. Anyways, you guys. Okay, so tomorrow, so Sex to be April D still. She never got a membership gifted to her, but again, appreciation to all you guys that tried so hard. Again, I'm just gonna say this, Shannon. Thank you so much. Explore Core, thank you for the 5 memberships you gifted, and to those people that got those, I always love paying it forward. Justin for all, thank you so much for the $5 gift. Or sorry, super chat. It's a crime and shame. You're so wonderful yourself. Thank you you two for gifting those to the channels that they do every month. Give us 10. Jancy, sorry, I was going to call you Janie Jancy. My bad, so bad. Okay, it's not my fault. You just take out the Z and what do you have, Janie? Okay. But Janzi, she tried to as well. Thank you for gifting those people because we're going to be doing a members live tomorrow. Yes, ma'am, she tried. Yeah, you tried and failed. And, you know, for April there and Root Strength tried and Catastrophe tried. And, well, Heather just became a member instead. So thank you guys so much for all that. So anyways, April D. Just go update your darn credit card, man. $1.99. $1.99, are you out of your mind? So anyways, we'll see you for a members live tomorrow. Again, I'll do it probably sometime in the early afternoon, but that's Pacific Standard Time. So that's probably going to be like between the 5 to 7 area on the like Atlantic time and stuff like that. Anyways, to all you Canadians out there, appreciate all the love and support to the channel, to Jack and Lily, to being voices for Jack and Lily and all that stuff. And to the Americans, I'm so sorry that you guys celebrate Thanksgiving Day so close to Christmas. It must be very costly for you guys. But, kidding aside on that, to all the Americans that are following the case for Jack and Lily, again, thank you so much on there. And again, I'm very proud to be Canadian and to be following this case as a Canadian. Case that's going on and stuff like that. I know that Darius, that little boy in Alberta, that's been missing, and they're still trying to figure out what's going on with him. I keep forgetting, to be honest. I keep getting reminded by people in emails, but because I haven't done a shitload of lives, and stuff like that, it's like I see it, but I'm usually going, shit, why didn't I talk about that case? It feels so bad. But anyways, you guys, God bless. You guys take care. Prayers. If you guys haven't hit that like and the share for Jack and Lily, please do. And we'll see you on the membership live tomorrow. You guys take care. Bye, Mona Lee. Bye, Shannon. Bye, April D. Bye, Explorer Core. Tinkerbell. I'm not really sure who you are. Troll. No, just kidding. There's Mick Mac. Mick Mac. Biggest hugs too. I already showed that article earlier. Mick Mac, of the one that you sent, so appreciate that. And but Jack and Lily, and see you guys. Bye, Janzi. Thank you again. Yep. Good night, everyone. Rest well. And with that being said, and don't get me wrong, you guys. I know, okay. I know I have been pushing off doing that video for Jack and Lily for the where is Jack and Lily video. And honestly, the reason I was on nights, and honestly, those ones are exhausting. But the true reason is that my files are everywhere in my C drive, like meaning in my downloads, and so I literally had to go through the emails. So I'm probably sure I'm going to have missed somebody's, but I literally had to go through the emails and everything, and it was just a lot of work because I wanted to make sure that I found as many different pictures as I could for where people have did the rocks or done paintings, and stuff like that. So no, I have not forgotten about it, but it was just getting around to going through my C drive. So what I was doing the other day was I was going through my C drive and I was actually creating folders. Okay. I was literally creating folders, Jack and Lily's missing posters, pictures of Malaya and Daniel. I was literally creating folders so that I don't struggle with always finding my shit. Okay. I'm not a very organized person. Okay. I'm just going to put that out there. I can do lives and sit down and talk with y'all. But as for my organizational skills, they really suck. So that's truthfully why I am, of course, going to be doing it. But it was just trying to get my ass in gear between working and being tired and just looking at my C drive going, yeah, not today. Nope, still not today. Maybe tomorrow. Nope, still not tomorrow. Okay. Right. So that's what I've been doing with myself. Okay. Anyways, you guys. So just know, again, I'm getting there with all my stuff and I will be doing that video. I'll probably actually working on it this weekend, to be honest with you, or because I got my 3 days off. So I'll probably end up doing some work on it tomorrow night and then on Friday, and I got Saturday. So yeah, I got time. Anyways, you guys, blessed for Jack and Lily. And let me see. I think I can actually go to my, let's see, video file. I got folders. Look at that, Sonny. You got folders. Let's see here. Screenshot folders. Daniel. Okay. Oh, tribute video folder. Is there anything in that? Hold on. Well, shit. The tribute video is not even in there. Shit. What did I do with it then? Well, shit. I gotta go find you now. Oh, yeah, there you are. Hold on. I'm gonna suck you in there. You can go into that folder right now. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. Sucks when you make folders.
In the woods where shadows lay, Jack and Lily went to play. on a rainy May afternoon. Now we whisper hope soft too. Echoes of laughter fill the air, but where are they? We
Let's just
stand
forget
in prayer. Oh, Jack and Lily, where have you gone? We'll hold on tight through this endless storm. In our hearts forever you'll stay. With every prayer we send your way. Hundreds gathered hearts so strong.
Okay. So hold on a second. Jack and Lily on there. Sorry, I was just too busy looking quickly at your pictures. Such beautiful kids, absolutely. On there. It just tears me up whenever I hear Russell McDonald songs. Right. Come Home. I haven't played Come Home Jack and Lily in a while. I'm gonna have to play that one again and stuff like that but this one too, like just that little piece there. Every time I play that at the start, the sadness comes over me for what the situation is about. Jack and Lily missing. These kids, again, just beautiful. They're children, just trying to live life as children. And then this bullshit all happens and stuff like that. No, I love this song. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's a beautiful song. Their missing is a tragedy. Absolutely. And that's why it's not a game, right? And so to sit there and watch Daniel treat it like it's a fucking game. Yeah. Does it bug me? Of course. Who doesn't it bug, right? For me, again, even if you take out the fact of, again, we don't know what Daniel or Malea's involvement is. A lot of us have strong opinions on that or strong feelings about that. Doesn't mean it's true, but definitely do we have opinions about that and what we're feeling? Absolutely. But when I see such a spectacle, and Daniel, he has fucking nerve, okay? He has fucking nerve to sit there and say that this is a circus, and stuff like that, or make comments to that. He has contributed freaking most of why this is all going on. It's because of his inconsistencies and lies and bullshit, and watching this narcissist, this manipulator, right, sit there and do this during Jack and Lily's case is utterly disgusting. And if he can't see his own bullshit, don't worry, Daniel, we can see your bullshit, okay? Regardless, if you had any involvement, you as a human being, to even be out there promoting for Jack and Lily like you give two fucks about them. Nah, dude. What you truly care about is just perpetrating the fact that you had no involvement, that you didn't do anything. Okay, if you didn't, you didn't, right? But let the truth be told then. But you're not telling the truth. You're so full of bullshit. You're so full of inconsistencies. And you're doing this at the sake of Jack and Lily. And I find that offensive, right? I find it offensive for any children that literally have to watch the spectacle that he has been making out of this case. So kiss my ass, Daniel, every inch of it. I don't care how big, how small my ass is. Kiss every inch of it. Oh my. All right, stapler. Absolutely. Right? Sorry. Like I said, when I'm very passionate about children, and then I watch this bullshit that's been going on, again, hasn't changed my mind at all. He's still a frickin' ass liar to my eyes. Full of it. Hey, Daniel, do you want to come up and sit beside me and do a live? I'll pretend to like you. I'll pretend to like I care what you have to say. No, right? Sorry. Again, he's left that point far behind now with anything that man says. Besides, I will believe a few things that come out of his mouth that seem logical to believe. Okay. Does anyone know what happened to brother? Yeah, he just doesn't say anything. He doesn't speak. That's pretty much what's going on there, right? Or, there's certain people that definitely aren't speaking, but it would be nice if people became a voice for Jack and Lily, right? These aren't our children. And yet why are we fighting so hard for answers, right? I don't care about this stuff of, what's my email address? It's crimingshame@gmail.com. So crimingshame@gmail.com. It tears me up as well, but the fact that someone made a song for them makes me feel good, as I'm reminded once again, absolutely. And Rachel McDonald has made 2 songs for Jack and Lily. They're both very beautiful. And her songs playing to Jack and Lily's pictures or the beautiful things that people have done, it just always hits me at the core of my heart, just as a reminder that these children deserve so much more than this bullshit that's going on. Right? There's not even a percentage I could even remotely say how it comes to what children should be treated like. And in a case of missing children that belong, to Malaya and other family members out there and stuff like that, be a voice for Jack and Lily, even if it's just to say, please continue searching, just to show that support, even if you don't want to be in front of like social media or the news, but they can still put out the articles, right? And sit there and know that you guys are being a voice for them and stuff like that. So, as for Daniel, and like I said, I know he was on the Drunk Turkey Show, and nothing against Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show. I just couldn't be asked to watch the shit. Sometimes people send me shit. That's fine. But honestly, it's not like I'm going to sit there and spend the rest of my night going back to watch the Drunk Turkey Show to see more bullshit out of Daniel's mouth. All he's going to do is boast about how, they didn't find nothing. See, because I told you, because they're 100%, alive and well. And Malaya knows exactly. Oh, wait, no, Malaya. Shh, hold on. No, not Malaya, because she didn't have nothing to do with it. But, Malaya's sister, Haley, yeah, she had everything to do with it. And he knows, and fuck off, right? It's like, kiss my ass. Not even going to happen. Anyways. Well, yeah. I mean, how embarrassing is that to watch when someone literally just keeps talking about themselves, and Daniel, and he knows I have his number. I have your number, dude, and like I said, if the public saw the shit that I saw, trust me, you'd have fucking nobody. But you know what? There's a difference between Jack and Lily's case and your personal shit, right? But I'm just going to tell you, you know what? You're fucking stupid is what you are. You're fucking stupid, Daniel. But anyways, like I said, let karma come bite you in the ass, dude. Live tomorrow, you guys. You guys have a great night. Jack and Lily, God bless. And thank you again for everyone's love and support. Okay, guys? And I'm just going to do the regular outro now that I've already done that. Stapler. Look at a chicken. Guess I got to find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, bye, guys.